All right, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Spinks. What's up, Spinks? How are you feeling?
Hey, feeling good. How are you?
I'm feeling good as well. Feeling good as well.
More on the Samsung.
I
All
just
right,
want to
all right, all
say,
right. What's going on with you? How you feeling? Are you nervous?
you can't tell?
I can't tell. I can't tell. No, no
Oh,
need to be nervous. Okay. We're gonna start off real light. Okay. To the
okay.
people that don't know you, can you tell them like who you are, what you do on the app?
So, my name is Sphinx, and I stream pretty much every day. My streams are, if I had to describe them, it's like a Pandora's box. You never know what you're going to get. So, no structure, we just free flow. Earlier in my streaming career, I used to have like set things to do and topics, but I felt like that was becoming too familiar. So, I had to switch it up.
Okay. And after switching it up, did you feel like it made your stream better or?
Yeah, because I pretty much let the people lead. Like, what do you guys want to do? Like, it's not so much what I want to do because I wouldn't be here without y'all. So, you let me know what it is we're gonna do, kind of situation.
Got you, got you. So Spinks, what brought you to the app?
So, I used to stream on a different platform, and then they took away their streaming capabilities. So, someone was like, "Hey, you should try POF and see. Like, I think you'll do pretty good there." So, I was like, "You know what? Let me try." And this was like over a year and a half ago. So, I've been on the app for a year and a half. This account since October.
So you've been here for a year and a half.
Mhm.
And on the other account, how long were you streaming for?
On the other account, I
Now
had
the
joined,
platform, I should say.
oh, the other platform. I was on there for like a couple of years, but I was doing more of the dating thing. I didn't get into the streaming side until like the very tail end. So
Got you, got you, got you. So what made you download that app?
I was out in these streets. I was looking for some adventure, you know. I was younger, so I just wanted to kind of explore. And then once I got tired of that, I was like, well, I have personality, so let me stream.
Got you. So when streaming became available, you would just say you started at the very beginning of the streaming side of it.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
what was some of the things that you've noticed with the streaming portion of it
On here or
on even the other platform?
um well, since I didn't do the other platform for very long, I'll just speak on this one. I like it. Like, there's not really too many cons that I have that I could think of. You meet cool people, you connect on and off the app. So I think that's something great. You know, even the trolls, I welcome everybody. It's all good.
That's so when you got on here, right?
Mhm.
You said you was out in these streets. Can you elaborate on out in these streets?
Yeah, like I was just on the dating side. You know, I wanted to go on dates and meet guys, hang out, see where it would go. Um, some things led to certain things, other things didn't. You know, we just stayed cool. And once the pandemic hit, particularly, like everybody was inside. So that was even more way for me to connect.
Got you. Were you on this platform by the time the pandemic hit or the other one?
No, so I was on the other one when the pandemic hit. I didn't join this one until last February. So that was what, 2022?
Got you, got you. Did you notice a difference, and what was the difference between the two platforms?
I think the kinds of people were the difference. Like it was a little more ratchet over there, and I'm a bit more chill. So I was like, I have to find like my vibe, you know. I have to find
Got
like the
you.
people that I connect with better, and I definitely do on POF.
And would you say you found your vibe?
I would say so. Yeah, like I have my circle of people. You know, we chill, we hang out, and we just really like connect on a different level, and I love that.
Got you. So, what is your status now on this app?
Status in terms of what, like
Status in terms of your level, your diamond count, your faves.
I am at 3.4 milli right now. I'm level 46, and I believe I have 2,900 faves. So we're working our way to the big 3K. So almost there.
Big 3K, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all heard her. She's working her way up to the big 3K. So if you're enjoying her time in her interview, please do not hesitate to hit that star on her name. And now let's really get down to business. Let's go all the way back, Spinks. Okay, let's before you even got on the app, let's take it back to your childhood. Okay, as far as you can remember, can you tell me who you grew up with? Where you from?
So I grew up with both my parents. They're still married now. Married 33 years, and I grew up in New York,
From New York. What part of New York?
Queens.
And you don't know me?
No, see, here's the thing. I've heard of you for sure. I've been in here a couple times. Who doesn't know you?
No, I'm talking about in Queens. You don't know me. Maybe there's an age difference. So what's your age?
I'm 28.
There's an age difference. I'm
Oh,
a
okay.
little younger than you. No, I'm joking. I'm older
Stop
than you.
it.
Got
I'm
you
turning
about 10 years, girl. I got you about 10 years. So what part of Queens did you grow up?
I grew up in Jamaica.
Same over here, Jamaica Queen. So you grew up in Jamaica Queens, and you said but both of your parents, they were together for 33 years. Any siblings?
I do. I have a sister and a brother. I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest of your sister and your brother. And which one of them is the oldest, the brother or the sister?
My sister, she's 38. I think she's like 10 years older than me. And me and my brother have a 3-year age difference.
Gotcha. And you always lived in Queens.
Always, always.
Okay. And how would you describe your parents as far as financially?
Financially,
When you were
well,
younger. When you were younger.
I didn't have like any worries. Like there was never any kind of struggle. Like we were always good. We've lived in the same place the entire time. Um, I don't really recall any like financial hardships or anything like that.
Gotcha. So would you say when you were in school that like you pretty much had like the latest things like Jordans and stuff like that? Was that a care of yours?
So I was never really into Jordans. Like that's not my style, you know.
Okay. What were you into?
So more alternative style, not so much like hip hop. I don't know where that came from. It was just kind of like, even today, like I know I y'all hear all them, all the utensils in the kitchen.
Not too much on her kitchen, y'all. Not too much, okay? So you said you were more like an alternative. Can you explain alternative to us?
Yeah. So when you think of like, what are some popular brands today? Um, I'm trying to think of somebody I could use as an example that's alternative.
So there's a couple of they're naming like Nikes, Jordans, Air Maxes, Air Forces.
Exactly, like exactly. Like
And
I
those
never
are you
really,
saying exactly those are the things you weren't into or you were into?
I wasn't into those. So I would wear like Converse, Vans, shoes
Okay,
like that,
all
sneakers
right.
like that. And I love boots.
And you love boots. So when you
Platform.
say boots, we're trying to get an idea. Are you referring to like Doc Martens or you mean like
Exactly. Doc Martens I like, or there's a website called Dolls Kill. They have boots. So
got you?
it's
So
more
you're
like
like more
gothic
of a hot
alternative.
topic.
Well, Hot Topic back in the day before it became poppy. I don't know what's going on now, but
Right.
like
Okay, I got you. I got you.
Hot Topic,
So
Zara,
what about how was your relationship with your family members?
all of them together, or you want to go person by person?
You can go person by person or, you know.
So my relationship with my older sister, she's um we don't do halves in our community, but she's my sister from like a different dad before my mom got married to my dad. So we have a 10-year age difference. We're cool. We're not as close as I'd like to be, but she's also deaf. So there's a couple of factors there. I still love her, but we're just not as close as I wanted us to be. Me and my brother, we were super close when we were younger. And then I started going through some of my own personal things and kind of pushed him away. So our relationship is being worked on. I was in a phase where like I was angry. And I think it affected our relationship. We've talked about it a couple of times, but we just went to the gym together the other day on Sunday. My arms are still hurting, by the way. Okay. I was doing free weights and I could not move them. I could not lift them.
Nice. How much you lift?
I was doing 25s. 12 sets of 3.
That's why your arms hurting you now.
three sets of 12. He's trying to kill you. He was.
Yeah, he definitely was, because I could barely lift it. All right. So what about your mom?
Ooh. We're okay. I mean, I never really felt like she liked me, She would always show my brother more attention, more affection, even just the way like she greets us. And this is something I've talked to her about before too, but she's like, no, I don't love you any different or any less, but you can hear certain things, you know what I mean? Like, so.
Why do you think that?
I guess just the amount of effort that she puts in, like she'll put more effort in with him, but not me. So I tried to sit and think like, well, was there something that I did? Like, is it my attitude? Because I can have, kind of an attitude sometimes. And we've spoken about that. So, girl to girl, we usually have our friction. But as I've gotten older and as she's gotten older, I feel like we just.
Do you feel like maybe it's because he's the only boy?
I never thought about that, but it definitely could be. Yeah, he's the only boy. So maybe she has like that affinity towards him. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, I basically look like you, you're just a lighter skin version than me. Like we literally look the same. So maybe it's looking in the mirror too. I don't know. Yeah.
What about your dad?
My dad is cool. Love my dad. He gets on my nerves sometimes, but I love him.
Okay. Do you feel like between all of them, you have the best relationship with your dad?
Me and my dad kind of have like this funny relationship. Like we'll talk to each other in a certain way that's not particularly nice, but then we get over it. I don't know how to explain it. Like we have an interesting relationship. I still respect him, but we just joke around a lot, basically, if I had to just simplify it.
So for the audience, like could you give us an example of the relationship or the things that you would joke about?
Yeah, like well, I slapped my dad on the back of the head before. I did.
He's bald-headed.
He's bald-headed, yes.
Like, okay. I get it. I do that a lot too. If you bald-headed, like I go into my G-Pod and be like, what's up, G-Pod? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And what did he do?
He got upset. But I was like, oh, you'll be all right. That's how we joke around. But he's never put his hands on me or anything like that. So
Gotcha. So let's get a little deeper. You mentioned you were going through something and your relationship with your brother and stuff like that, and certain family members haven't really been the same since. What was it that you were going through?
Just dealing with somebody that I shouldn't have been dealing with. Totally different lifestyle, but this was somebody that How old was I? Mm-hmm. How old was I around that time? This had to be like 2019. I was in my early 20s.
Recent.
I was in my early 20s. Yeah.
So this was recent when you and your brother had a little fallout, and then started rekindling?
Yeah, it's definitely been like within the last 5 or 6 years.
Got you. All right, we're gonna take it back. Before we get there, we still want to know about that. We're gonna take it back because we still want to know a little bit more about your past. Take us into school, like grade wise. Like what type of student were you when you was in school?
I loved school. I felt like that was where I shined the most outside of sports, but I love school. I love learning. I love English, history. Those were my two favorite subjects. Don't ask me nothing about math. I don't know.
Got you. So I want to remind you, okay, I don't know if you're still nervous, but I want you to know that this is an mini autobiography of your life. Okay. We encourage you to try to be as open and honest as possible. Okay. And because if the more open you are, the more people see it and stuff like that. And it's also like a sense of relief to get that out. You know what I'm saying? Now, if there is some things that you don't want to touch on, it's okay for you to be like, you don't, you know.
Yeah,
But in order for this to work, you have to be as open and honest as possible.
got you.
Okay, because this is your story, not ours. We can't tell it for you.
True.
All right. So, so in school, you said you were in school. Was there any issues? Take us to what was there ever a time where you had an issue in school? Was there something that you struggled with while you were in school, or did you always get good grades?
Yeah, grade wise, I was good. I remember my freshman year of high school, I had a total emotional breakdown because I used to put relaxer in my hair and my hair was like not where I wanted it to be. So before the first day of school, we actually shaved my head. So I had to go to school with a dark Caesar. My
Wait,
freshman year of high school.
is it because your hair like fell out because of the relaxer?
So it was thinning in certain spots. So I felt like it didn't look right. So I was voicing that concern to my mom. I was like, I don't know, like I can't be a freshman in high school wearing wigs. Like this is 2009. They weren't really that popular back then. So I was like, let's just shave my head. So my brother took me to school that morning. I remember, I'll never forget. I was crying on the way to school. It was just not a good feeling. It's crazy.
So, and this is in this is in high school. So this is you going to high school.
This is me going
Was
to.
it in this freshman year in high school? So did you feel like did you get teased when you got there, or
Hmm.
and what were some of the things they would say?
I just felt like everyone was staring. I got called Fantasia a lot. But fast forward now, Fantasia's popping. They call me Fantasia. But back then it was like, oh my God. Like, and I had never really been bullied like that before.
Right.
So it was, yeah. And then I just created my own identity pretty much in high school. I just ran with it.
So when they called you Fantasia, how did that make you feel?
Terrible. Like, horrible. You know, I was like, I don't see the resemblance. The fact that we have short hair, I don't know. It made me angry.
When you look back at it now, do you see a resemblance? Could you see what they was referring to?
No, I really
So
don't.
what allowed you to say, you know what? Let me own it.
Um, the fact that I couldn't run from it.
And
Like,
what did you decide? What allowed you to cope with it and decided to change the narrative, I should say.
um, I guess it's a girl that I met in high school. Her name was Nancy. And I really like Nancy because Nancy was like my first intro to like alternative goth style. She had her septum pierced. She was like a cute little short Hispanic girl. She had jet black hair. She wore eyeliner. And I was just kind of like, that's dope. Like she has her own style. So she actually took me to get my septum pierced in St. Mark's.
Mm.
So one day we just cut school and we went over there and I got my septum pierced. And from there it was just like
What's St. Mark's?
That's in the city, like Lower Manhattan, around West Fourth.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's, I believe that's like off, I believe, is that 8th?
It's West Fourth. So what is it? The ACE train, all that.
Yep. I know exactly where that's at. So it's that area, a lot of like, I know exactly where that's at.
You know, I'm talking about like it's the street, and then you have Two Bros Pizza. You remember Two Bros?
Yep, two bros and $1 slices. Yep. I know
Yeah.
exactly what you talking about. It has all the tattoos and those little weird shops over there. And
Hmm.
I know exactly what you're talking about. So, all right. So she took you over there. Now, what kind of friend was she?
She was really supportive. She, you know, was basically like, you don't have to be ashamed of the fact that your hair is short or whatever. Just work with it. And this is coming from a non-melanated person, and that's another thing I want to point out is like, we always make fun of each other, but we don't support each other. At least that's how it felt back then. Like it took somebody that didn't look like me to be like, hey, it's okay. Like that would have been a little bit better coming from somebody who resembled me, you know?
Right.
That's outside of my family and my household as well. Because of course my family's gonna say it's okay, but it would have been nice to hear it from a stranger.
Got you. Do you feel like you had a lot of friends in school?
So I didn't have a lot of friends. So this is the weird part. I was in the theater program, so I was very like outgoing and expressionate in that area, but I never really like hung on to anybody. Never really became friends. I had one girl group in high school. It was like 4 or 5 of us. And that's when I really learned about friends in high school. So after high school, I just kind of just stayed to myself.
And what did you learn about friends?
Very rare. You just have people that you associate with that you get used to being around because you're in each other's faces every day. But it takes a lot more to develop a friendship and have it actually mean something. So
And what perspired that allowed you to think like that between your
just
friends?
just the constant gossiping behind each other's backs. And I think it's more important how somebody treats you when you're not around versus when you're there. You
I
understand?
definitely agree. But remember, this is your autobiography. So elaborate on gossip and what was gossiped about you that allowed you to make that decision.
Just anything personal that I would tell them, like if I met up with a guy and like da 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 da, and I would tell them what happened, they would say that I'm a slut or this or that, and just talking about my physical appearance and how I'm a
Did
hater.
that happen? Did you meet up with a guy?
I did. Like, I would tell my friends the truth about things that were going on because that's what we all did. Like, we all shared our stories and experiences. So I was like, why, when it comes to me, you guys act different? Like, I don't get it. So I always had that in the back of my mind, like, oh, you're probably talking shit. Like, I can't trust you.
Got you. So once again, I'm trying to get you to open up and tell the actual story, right? So what happened? What exactly happened? You were talking to a guy. We want to know the
Oh,
details.
you want to know the details of that story?
Yes, we want to
Okay.
know the details. What exactly happened that allowed you to look at friends differently?
So this was by the time I think my junior or senior year of high school.
Mhm.
So
What
remember I
high school
told
did you
you
go to?
I went to Hillcrest.
I went to Edison.
Oh,
Block from me.
nice. So this
Mhm.
was junior or senior year of high school. I told you guys I was on dating sites, right? Now I've always looked older than what I was, at least when I was younger. I was already developed and all that. So I was 17 when I joined the app, okay? And I ended up meeting somebody who was 30 years old. He was a Department of Sanitation worker.
Mhm.
So we met up or whatever, and I had told him that I was 18. We were kicking it or whatever, things happened, did the do. And I told my friends, and they were just kind of like, what? Like, because sometimes he would pick me up from school too. So
Mhm.
they got to meet him a couple times. But yeah, I guess they just didn't like that. I don't know if it was jealousy or whatever the case may be, but yeah, like they started talking shit about me, like, oh, why are you over here like dating older men and why are you doing this and why are you doing that? I'm just kind of like, why not? Like 17, I'm young.
Right.
It's like life.
Do you feel like during that time of them telling you why you dating older men, why you doing this, do you feel like they wanted better for you, or do you feel like they were hating?
I honestly felt like they were hating. But mind you, one of the other girls in our group, she was way worse than all of us. Like she was literally selling, you know what? I wasn't doing that though. So, and you were the school slut. So how are you gonna tell me about what I'm doing? Like everybody knows your reputation in the school. I was just low key with it and I didn't really mess with people at school. Smart.
So typically, right, they say, what is that saying where when you hang out with someone, you are the people, the company
You
you
are
keep.
you are the company you keep, right?
Did you feel like maybe that has that label ever been placed on you?
There were talks about
Your
it.
company?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because they know, well, her name was Amber. They knew that I was cool with Amber. So they're kind of looking at me like, why are you friends with her when you know her reputation? You must be the same. And I quickly correct, actually, no, I'm not. Because you don't
Mm,
hear my name all throughout the school. You hear her name. We just happen to be cool. You know, I kick it with her, I go to her house, met her family, whatever, but I don't have the same reputation that she does. So I
right.
don't think it always applies, to be honest.
So what was your last draw, or what was the fallout that like broke the five Migos up?
I'm trying to think. What was it? It was such a long time ago. Um, I really just feel like after high school, we just stopped keeping in contact. Like we all kind of went our separate ways. People went off to college,
Mhm.
and I lost connection with her. Um, she called me maybe like a year or two after high school. We planned to meet up,
Mhm.
but it just never came to fruition. I don't know. The dots just didn't connect. As for everybody else, I just stopped talking to them. It was one of those things. It's just like when you have a job, right? You
Right.
have the same coworkers, and then when you leave that job, you don't really talk to them. Same situation.
Got you. So let me ask you this: like, so here you are, you're a teenager in school.
Hmm.
You did the guy know you were in school?
Yeah, because he came to pick me up after school sometimes.
So and he thought you were 18 and in school.
Hmm. You know, you got to go with that super senior lie.
Mm, got you. And he never asked you to see any identification to prove your age.
Nope.
And how long does this relationship with him continue?
For a year.
For
I,
one
I
year?
so I eventually came clean and told him because I started to feel bad, you know. So I
Got
was
you.
like, you know, I got to tell you that I'm actually 17. And you know what his question was?
What?
Well, when do you turn 18? I was like, January. And he's like, oh, okay.
So do you think even in the beginning that he cared?
No. I mean, with that response, I don't think he really did. No. Because usually a person would be upset, right? At being
Right.
bamboozled. I don't think he was upset. It was just more of like, oh, okay. But I only also feel that way because my birthday was coming soon, you know. If I had was like, oh, I'm 16, I don't know if that would have changed his
Right,
response.
right, 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 right.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So now here you are, you're dealing with this older man. What about your family? How did they feel about it?
They didn't know.
So even till this day, they don't know.
Mm. There's a lot of things that I've kept from them.
Wow. And so do you feel like if your parents would have found out, would they have been happy with that decision?
Not at all.
So when you look back, right, because you were young, right, and of course, him being the adult, and the legal age of consent, I believe during that time was 18.
Mhm.
Okay, because if we're thinking about high school, I believe it was 18, and he was dealing with a minor. Okay, when you look back, do you feel like that was the right decision on his part?
No. I also feel like I have a role to play in it too. Like I could have been honest, like, hey, from the beginning, but I wasn't. So
Right.
how could I fault him when I wasn't honest?
So, what made y'all stop talking?
I started talking to somebody else.
Okay, okay, okay. Somebody else in school, or
No, somebody else actually that I met that was, um, I think he was a paralegal at the time and he was going to take his LSATs to be a lawyer or do
Mhm.
something in law. So I was talking to him for a little bit until he moved away. And my ID picture, actually, I have on the shirt that he bought me when he took me shopping.
Okay, okay. So how old were you now? Like, give us a time frame. What was your
I,
age during that
I was
time?
19,
So you 19 now. Where did you meet?
online again.
So you was meeting a lot of men online. Let me ask you this. What was wrong with the men in your area in Queens?
You know it's wrong.
I need you to say it.
Just not my cup of tea. It wasn't what I was looking for, not my style. Mm-mm.
Got you.
And
Okay.
back then, I think my palette was a little different. I kind of like nerdy dudes a little bit. And then I went through a time period where I wasn't dating my race. I was dating outside my race.
Got you. But this particular gentleman, right, when you broke up with the older man, um, he was your race. What
The
was it
older
about him that got you?
the older guy was not. He was Italian.
You said he was what?
Italian.
Did the second guy that you started dating after?
Oh no, the first guy that I met when I was 17. He was Italian, the sanitation worker.
Oh, he was Italian,
Mhm.
Caucasian.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay, 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 okay. So you started dating outside of your race since you was young. So dang, then when I look at this, it's a different aspect. So what you think your parents would have said?
So they're really open. Like they're not against dating outside of my race. They're just like, as long as you're happy, they treat you good. I don't have an issue.
But
So,
now it's outside of your race and an older gentleman.
hmm well, the older part they would not have approved of course. That's for sure. But the race, it didn't really matter to them.
Got you. All right, so let's fast forward. So how long you was talking to the new guy that came into your life?
It wasn't for very long because he actually ended up moving away. So after that, we just lost connection.
Where did he move to?
I can't recall. But I know when we met and we were talking, he lived in Brooklyn, but he moved somewhere out of state. I just can't remember which state he moved to.
Got you. What was your longest relationship?
3 years.
And how old were you?
I was, when did I first meet him? 21? 21. Yes, I was 21.
21. So from the beginning, tell me how y'all met up and everything. And during this time, were you working?
Yeah, so I had gotten my first job actually out of high school. I was working at a doggy daycare in the city on Broadway. So I was there and I worked there for a number of years, got promoted, and then I met Julio is his name. Um, and we got together, started talking. It was really weird how we started talking because it was like we played telephone. Like one of my coworkers told him that I thought he was attractive. And I'm like, see, this is why you can't tell people shit. Yes, I used to tell you, but that doesn't mean go and tell him.
Right,
So
right.
he ended up coming up to me and he was like, well, I wanted to hear it from the horse's mouth, which is, me. So I told him, I was like, yeah, I did say that. I just didn't expect somebody else to tell you. I was going to tell you eventually. Um, and then after that, we just started dating and then we got together and we still worked at the same job. So imagine that.
So 3 years working at the same job. No
3 years.
fallouts at the job.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. So many. Not so many, but like, I'm trying to remember the timeline. So we got together there. I think eventually I went to go work in retail because somewhere in between here, I was also going to school. So it wasn't necessarily fallouts between us on the job, but there was a lot of drama at work with like assistant managers sleeping with coworkers in the laundry room, people's boyfriends showing up to the job because somebody said something. Like, yeah. So it was never really like with us. If we got into an argument, we just wouldn't talk. Like we would just walk past each other, like whatever.
Like
But
y'all
we
don't even know
never,
each other.
right? But we never got into like a verbal, like, no, not at work.
Dispute at work.
Right.
What was it about him that attracted you to him?
I think back then in my young mind, it was all the tattoos.
Gotcha. So when you were younger, you was a tattoo kind of that those kind of things turned you on.
He was super tatted, like everywhere, legs, arms, chest, back.
Gotcha. And then when you got to know him, because sometimes we might let certain things, we might be attracted to certain things, and then like our perspective changes once we're with that person.
Right.
So what changed for you? Like that it was the tattoos that attracted you to him, but when you got to know him, what was it that changed for you?
When I got to know him, um, I guess it was just certain like aspects of his personality. So sometimes he would just be quiet. And I'm like, I didn't come to your house to be quiet. Like, if I wanted to be quiet, I could have stayed home. Or I had to like force him to be adventurous. Like, let's go here, let's go to Six Flags, let's go out, let's go do this. He was just really like a homebody. So I had to really like probe him to go do fun things. And it's like, damn, I'm not the adventurous one either, but I'm stepping into that role for the sake of our relationship. So
Do you feel like during that time you were bored in a relationship? Would you say that
do I feel like,
you were bored?
yeah,
And
yeah.
and at this time you were how old?
How old was I? 21 or 22 by that point?
Describe your personality when you are in a like relationship.
When I'm in a relationship, honestly, I feel like that's my person. I could be a little possessive, which is not good. Um, I want to keep you to myself, but I'm very loving in a relationship, very giving, very kind until you piss me off. And then that's when you get the other side. That's not so lovable.
So you said possessive. What is your sign?
Capricorn.
Capricorn. Okay, so in a relationship, you feel like you're possessive. Did he have a problem with you being possessive over him?
No, I don't think he did. Um, I pretty much ran that relationship. And then after he cheated on me a year and a half into the relationship when I was on vacation in Florida with my family, then it really like that just, I feel like that changed everything for me for the rest of my life.
Hmm. Describe the change and describe how you found out.
So um, before that, like I was really patient, I was really understanding, I was very loving. After I found out, so he actually broke up with me. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was in the store shopping with my sister, and I get a call from him. And I'm like, hey, what's going on, babe? He's like, I got to talk to you. Like, I don't think that we're going in the same direction. And I think that we should probably just break up. And I'm just over here like, what are you talking about? Like, like, you know, what do you mean? And he's like, yeah, I just don't think we have the same goals in life, and we should break up. I was crying. So I went outside. The conversation was over, and I'm crying under a palm tree. I'm so pissed. Like, and I was just sending him messages like, you just wait till I get back. I'm popping up at your house, blah, 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 you know, like saying all this shit. And do you know the wait to get back home and address this situation? I could not wait to get back home because I was so angry. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, this is coming out of the blue. I'm only down here for 4 days. Like, what could have changed in 4 days? So now the wheels in my mind start turning, and I'm like, no, that's not it. It has to be somebody else. It has to be. So fast forward, the trip is over. We head back to New York. And I remember I came home, put my suitcase there, told my mom, like, Mom, I'll be back. I got to go do something. Took an Uber to his house. It was $60. Took an Uber to his house. Boom, 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 boom. Like you know, like one of those SWAT knocks, you know, like when that comes. And he's, you know, I'm like, open the door. So he opens the door. I go to his room. And I'm like, so do you want to tell me like what that was all about? Like, what do you mean we're breaking up? Like, what happened? And he just gets quiet. And I'm like, now I'm getting pissed because I'm like, why are you quiet? Like, tell me what's going on. And he basically tells me that he slept with somebody that he knew from high school. So from there, I was just kind of like, okay, who is she? You know, because like, who is this? He don't want to tell me who it was. So I said, okay, that's fine. I'm going to find out who it was. So we were like really on Facebook a lot back then. So I checked his Facebook. I was scrolling through, you know, likes and shit. And I connected the dots and I found out who it was. And I was like, this bitch? You serious? This Humpty Dumpty looking bitch? This is what you did? I was so mad. Like, I was really upset. And he started crying. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I fucked his room up.
When you say fucked his room up, what did you do exactly? We want the details.
Threw his TV, flipped the bed, threw his phone across the room, you know, knocking down hangers of clothes.
And what was he doing while you was doing this?
Trying to stop me.
You were like, calm it down. Get your off of me.
Yeah, I wasn't hearing any of it. I didn't want to hear any of it. No. And then after all that, you know, after some time, I took him back.
Y'all be killing me. And I say y'all, okay?
I know. I took him back.
Y'all be going through all that.
Yeah, but you know what? It wasn't for free. No. It wasn't for free.
So let me ask you this. Was the reason why he called it off originally with you was because he cheated on you?
Yes. So I feel like he felt guilty about it, or he thought about doing it but wanted to break up with me first so it wouldn't be considered cheating. You know what I mean? I feel like he wanted to break up with me first, go do what he had to do so that he wouldn't necessarily feel bad about it. But either way, I feel like that's still some fuck shit. You know what I mean? Like,
but you know what? Either way, I feel like that was dope that when you showed up to his home, that he was able to come clean and tell you. Because there really are some men out there who wouldn't even do that. Like, you could go over there and it will make it seem like it's just you. You're just a bad person. They're the victim. You're the reason why they did it. And I commend him for not doing it. You know what I'm saying? You you came over there and you needed answers and he gave you the answers. But one of the things I want to point out to you was you mentioned the fact that it changed you. Yeah. Something about that moment really changed something inside of you. Mm-hmm. What was it? What about that moment changed you?
I felt like I was doing everything I could. Like I felt like I was doing right by him. Like I felt like I basically didn't deserve it. So to have that happen when I've been doing everything right, it just made me feel like, okay, you could do everything right and still get shitted on. So why why do it right? You know, it just made it hard for me to trust again, like for real. So I always have a doubt in my mind. I always think like 5 steps ahead,
Got you.
you know?
So now you took him back.
Hmm.
Was that your last relationship or
That was my last like long-term relationship. And
what
then
about what about your relationships after that? Like what would you say that how long what was your second longest relationship? Was there a second longest relationship?
I don't even consider those long enough. But it's been rough, you know, it's been rough.
So
Hmm.
when you say you don't even consider those, how long has those relationships been? Like that was the last longest that was like about 3 years, right?
Hmm.
And so would you give me a frame
Like 6 months.
like 6 months?
Hmm.
So what was it that allowed wasn't allowing the relationship to progress? Like
Distance.
all of these men you're meeting off of the webs the app, right?
Hmm.
So what was it about it that wasn't allowing it to?
I guess, well, for one of them, it was definitely distance. Like we were in different states. Um, Other than that, it just wasn't connecting. It just wasn't working. You know, it just wasn't, something wasn't clicking. I don't know what it was.
I'm be honest with you, Spanx. I feel like you're holding back from us.
What you
Spanx,
mean?
if you crazy, tell us you crazy.
I'm not crazy.
Ain't no way a man just gonna keep leaving. So what was it about you, or what was it about the men you attract?
Um, I'm just a little unhinged, you know, it's nothing crazy. I used to be verbally abusive.
Oh, there we go. A little unhinged.
Yeah, just a little bit,
just
you know.
a, just a little.
Yeah, just a little bit. Trust, like just a little bit.
You know
But
what? Let me
still
put
have
you
all
on the
my
hot seat. What's the craziest thing you ever did? And don't sugarcoat it.
Oh, that same ex, my long-term relationship, I showed up to his job with scissors.
Scissors doing what?
Well, okay, let's rewind. There's context, okay? So we were in bed the previous night. We were watching a movie. And he had Snapchat. So, you know, he got a Snapchat message at like 2 a.m. And I'm just kind of like, who's snapping you at 2 a.m.? Open the message. He didn't want to open it. So I said, okay, open the message. He finally opens it, and it's his coworker naked. So, needless to say, I fucked him up first. And then I said, I'm going to go to your job tomorrow and I'm going to fuck that bitch up right after school. Because I remember I was in class. So I went to class from 9 to 2, called my manager because I was working at a emergency hospital in Brooklyn at the time. And I told her, I said, I'm not coming in today. I'm actually going to get arrested. I called my manager and told her this. I said, I'm going to get arrested. So she's like, what do you mean? What do you da? Click. So now I go all the way into the city to go to his job. I walk in, the lobby area is cleared. There's no clients there. So I was like, you know what? I go up to the front desk and I'm like, is Julio here? And you know, God bless her. She was so scared, but she's like, yeah, he's here. I said, okay, can you tell him to come out real quick? Okay. All right. So he comes out and I just lose it. Where's the bitch? I know she's back there. She was back there. Mm-hmm. She ain't come out. Why? You know who came out? The manager came out, and she's like, we honestly can't have you causing a scene. If clients come in, this is a place of business. I said, I don't give a fuck about your place of business. Okay. And I said, that's fine. I'll leave, but I got all day, honey. I'll be right here. Little did I know, she called the cops. So I went to the pizza store that was down the street, right? And I was just sitting there. And I see one of his coworkers walking down the street on the phone. I thought that was weird. So I go to leave the pizza shop, and here comes 2 cops to arrest me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was that your first time getting arrested?
That was my first time, like, really, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How long were you in there for?
I went to get booked. I think I spent the night there, which was the worst experience of my life. It was the worst.
What did your parents say?
Oh my God. What did they say? I don't even remember what they said. I think they pretty much just asked me, like, what happened? Like, why would you do that? And I explained to them why I didn't. They were like, you got to be smarter than that. Like, you can't do that, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, I know. But I don't know. My emotions just got the best of me.
And that was the first. Do you regret?
That was the first and only time that I ever got arrested. After that, I learned my lesson. I did. So.
Looking back, do you regret that you did that over him?
No. No.
So, and that was one of the moments. Was that one of those pivotal moments where you said it changed you?
Yeah, that just changed, like, my outlook on relationships, because, like I said, you could be doing everything right and you still get done wrong. So in my mind, I was trying to rationalize, like, how do you keep hope alive?
Now, you mentioned doing everything right.
Mm-hmm.
According to you, you were doing everything right. According to him, if I was to speak to him today, would he say Spinks was the perfect girlfriend? I was the one messing up.
Prior to when he cheated on me, absolutely.
So when he cheated on you the first time and he came clean to you, did you feel like your behavior in the relationship changed after that?
Yep. And I was like, we should have broke up. Like, we shouldn't have kept it going another year and a half. We should have broke up. 100%.
So what about you in that relationship changed? What were you doing? What was the changes that you were exhuming that showed you that you were different from how you used to be?
Oh, I was just doing whatever I wanted now. So, I actually got caught cheating on an Apple Watch. Don't sleep with your Apple Watches on, y'all. Just don't do it, okay?
So wait, see, you left that out of it.
This was after the fact.
I have an Apple Watch. I can't want an Apple. You hear, Donna? That's why you wanted the Apple Watch. I never even said I want one. I don't even wear mine, and I still pay the bill on it. It's kind of bad, right? All right, so kind of crazy. You should have never said that to Donna. I pull out my Apple Watch, it's over.
Don't do it. All
right, so listen. So you started cheating after that, and you did not say that the first time.
No, so I didn't get to that part of the story. But after we rekindled things, and I said, fuck it. I did everything right the first time, right? Let's see what happens if I just want to do what I want to do. It lasted another year and a half, but I had my fun. And when he was crying, I didn't care. Because now you see how I felt, right?
So you feel like the last year and a half, you were cheating all through that year and a half?
Not all throughout the year, but I was.
Did you
doing little things here and there?
Within that year and a half, did you see any signs of?
Did I see any signs of what?
Did you see any signs of him cheating again or no?
I don't think I really cared at that point. I don't think I really paid attention.
Because you were doing you.
Right. But
God.
when you're not doing you and when you're actually like in tune, you tend to pick up on those things versus you not being in tune.
Got you. So you feel like you just had that like woman intuition thing.
Absolutely. It's
Got you.
okay, y'all. It's been a minute. I processed it. You know, there's been other little things that have gone on, but other than that, it's good.
What are your triggers?
Liars,
Mm-hmm.
manipulators,
Mm-hmm.
and people who just like, I don't like to ask the same thing over and over again. If I have to repeat myself and keep asking of you to do the same thing, that's a trigger. It's gonna piss me off.
Got you. When you say over and over, like what are some things that you feel you would request and had to say over and over and it would trigger you?
Just something simple like call me, call me.
And if they don't
You
call
say you're
you,
gonna call me, but you don't. And this is multiple times, multiple times, multiple times. It's gonna piss me off, and then I'm not gonna be nice.
do you feel like you have a 0 to 100 mindset?
I feel like it builds up over time.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how crazy would you say you are? 10 being the highest.
Mhm. How crazy would I say I am? We're gonna come in at a solid 6. Honestly, solid 6.
Audience, put in the comments what number you think it is. And you know what? That actually shows me that you're crazy because you put yourself at a 6. A lot of crazy people don't know they're crazy.
But see, crazy is a really intense word. I don't think I'm crazy. I just think I'm passionate, you know, about what I want. I think I'm passionate, you know. We're
Yeah,
getting
passionate. Okay, okay. I like that. I like the wordplay. So now you haven't had, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just walking in, welcome to exclusive interview. We are currently interviewing Spinks right now, and we have another interview coming up in just a few moments. Okay. So boom. Now that was your last long relationship. You already informed us that every relationship after that was very short lived and you haven't really been able to find the right person, right? What does the right person look like for Spanx?
I don't know. I really don't know. Um, what I would like, someone who's patient, understanding, just willing to deal with my level 6 craziness.
Passion, passion.
Passion. Yes, thank you. My level 6 passion. That's all.
So, and are you still looking?
No, I'm not actively looking. I'm actually doing a 30-day vegetarian diet challenge. Today is day 7. Yay! Working out, just staying focused on me. I'm not really going searching for anything. You know, if it happens to come, it comes. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. But I think that's good for me to not focus on it, you know, because I have to focus on myself.
Got you. So now you're focused on you're out. You're focused on you. And how does that feel like? Because this is the first time I heard you say, "I'm focused on me." What
Mhm.
does focusing on you feel like?
It feels like me not being hyper worried about what other people are doing or people, particularly men, like that I've dealt with, or I'm not sitting there watching their pages, watching their every move. Like I'm just really working on me, going to the gym, making sure I'm eating better, taking care of my responsibilities. Like that's what that looks like to me. And it's great because I never really used to do that. Like I would always be so focused. Like, what is he doing? Who's he talking to? Like, that's not a way to live.
Right. And you feel like a lot of the relationships she was like that.
Yes.
One of the
Very.
things I noticed that you mentioned, and it always shocks me, especially with women, because there are women that's like, when you're laid up with them and stuff, you're sleeping with them. They don't really do much. You don't never see them in action, but it's how clever women can be when they know something's going on or something's going wrong. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things you mentioned to me was you going through the Facebook to find out. And he probably got, I would say, probably over 100 women that's on there, and you were able to narrow it down. I mean, how many women in the comments could say they will be able to do the same thing
Mm-hmm.
and
It's
figure out who it was?
yeah. I mean, to be fair, he gave me a name, so I just went based off of that. Like, you can't have that many Christinas on your Facebook. So it's
Yeah.
just about narrowing it down to which raggedy Christina it was.
Got you, got you. Okay, so you left that part out. I thought you just went in and was like, who keeps liking this picture?
Mm-mm.
So now, what are you focused on now? What is your goals now?
My goals now are to finish up the rest of my vet tech program for my licensing. Um, Hopefully hit 4 milli by October, maybe November, and just get the rest of my faves up. Pretty much it. Continue my weight loss journey, continue eating good, exploring, traveling. Life is simple right now.
Got you. And you mentioned vet tech program.
Yes, I work in veterinary medicine. So,
So you're still in that field because you've been doing it since you was young.
hmm
Okay. What, why was that such an interest to you?
I've always had like an interest in animal biology and just animal medicine in general. Um, I had animals when I was younger. I have a dog now. And I didn't want to do human medicine because I'm not trying to work 12 hours. Okay. I need a quality of life. So, how could I achieve the goal of working in an area that I'm interested in, but still have a quality of life? The median is veterinary medicine. So,
I like that. I like that. I like that. And how you're still in school, correct?
yeah, still in the program.
When do you finish the program?
It's a 2 year program. So now I have about, what, a year left. So now I'm just an SVT student, vet tech. It's been dope. Like, it's been pretty cool. Can't complain.
And what is your goals? What's your 5-year plan?
5 year plan. Let's see. Hmm. To be determined. I'm always changing my mind so much, honestly. I don't really have one.
And the last thing I want to go back to before we let you go, and before we take questions from the audience, actually, is you mentioned something about the relationship with your brother.
hmm
What was that changed your relationship with your brother?
I think it was the choices that I was making when I was dealing with the person I was dealing with at the time, who was in the streets and was on drugs. And I was more focused about, like, I was more worried about helping him and saving him instead of giving my attention to things that really mattered, like my family at the time.
Was that Julio?
No, that was somebody else. That was the person I told you with, that I went to school with, and we reconnected.
Okay. Oh, the person you went to school with and you reconnected, you started dealing with him. And
hmm
what, your brother had a problem with you dealing with him?
Yeah, just because of his lifestyle choices and the way that he lived his life.
Right. And what did your brother tell you about him?
Um, why would you deal with him? Like, he's a street dude.
All right, Cammy, we don't kick people in here. I know that's my troll. Yeah, we don't kick. I know you ain't been in here in a while, but please no kicking. All right. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
So you said your choices and what else?
Oh, like his lifestyle choices. My
Did your
brother
brother
didn't
know
agree with.
him?
He didn't know him, but he's seen him around because he was actually homeless, and I didn't realize that at the time. I found out after, like, reconnecting with him, and I kind of realized, I'm like, oh, you don't go home at night. You know what I mean? Like, I just thought you like to hang out again in my young mind, not being aware of how the world works. Because I did kind of grow up sheltered in that sense, because it was never something we had to worry about. But no, he was homeless. Sure was.
Plan on putting out the fire?
Well, I think somebody's backing up outside. Sorry, y'all.
Now that's what you, ladies and gentlemen. Spanx, y'all. If you have any questions for Spanx, you may line up in the box and ask those questions right now.
Ask me questions. Sure.
You may line up in the box and ask those questions right now, ladies and gentlemen. Or you can ask them in the comments as well, okay? Hmm?
Any questions?
Yeah, Donna has one.
Yes, Donna.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. So few words you use to describe yourself. You described yourself as being clingy, passionate, and I believe you also said, was it verbally abusive?
I was, yes.
Okay, so what was it, I would like to ask, in your childhood that erupted those behavior? Like, when did you notice that you were clingy and what triggered it?
What triggered my clinginess? Um, Trying to think. I mean, I can definitely start with the verbal abuse part. I guess my dad kind of used to talk to us a little crazy when we were young. So I just kind of normalized that. Like, my dad would call us retarded. Sorry about the truck backing up. um, he would just use certain words that just weren't nice. But it's weird because he was also super supportive. So it's like, which way are we going, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
So in regards to the clinginess, I guess maybe something was lacking. Maybe I felt like I wanted someone to be there. So here's another factor. My parents missed my high school graduation because they decided to go on a cruise instead. And that really pissed me off. My high school graduation you missed for a cruise that you didn't even make. You missed the cruise because the cruise was in Florida, so they had to go down there to catch it.
Mm.
Ended up missing it and stayed at my sister's house.
You said your dad was supportive. Was he supportive financially, but not emotionally?
Right.
So do you think that's where the clinginess came from?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Do you think that's probably why you entertain dating an older man as well?
Absolutely.
Maybe. Um, with the older, I think it's more of relatability. I tend to have an older spirit about me. Like, I like to listen to oldies and my type of music. I don't really like listening to today's music. So I don't know.
Do
That's
you
it.
feel like now when you look at that and everything we're pointing out, do you feel like you was kind of looking for like a protector, maybe?
Probably, yeah. Wow, that came full circle. Yeah.
It definitely happens, so I could definitely understand that.
If you had to pick between financial support or emotional support, which one would you pick and why?
Ooh, wow, that's hard. The smart answer is emotional support. Yeah, yeah. I think emotional support is more important because it keeps you grounded, um, and it lets you know that somebody's there and actually cares for you.
Right.
And I think that's what a lot of us need to know that somebody cares about us. And
I agree.
because the financial part, there's always money to be made. Like that's not necessarily an issue, but emotional support. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something. EU Smith said in the comments. She said, "We don't want the smart answer. We want yours." And we know you from Southside Jamaica, Queens. So don't try to BS us.
Well, I'm serious though. I'm serious.
If you could choose, that's the one you would choose. You would choose emotional.
Can I have both?
Now you know it's a
No,
hot girl
you gotta pick
summer.
one.
Yeah, you need both. Yes, both. I can't decide between one or the other, guys.
Which one is all right?
Because
You
they
can
both
pick
shape
both,
us in
but
different
which
ways. No, you
one
can't.
has
That's my
more
question.
value to you? Because of course you would want both, but which one is
More
more
important.
percentage, more important?
So think about those words that we use to describe you, right? And then think about what was lacking that would have shaped you. So obviously you received the financial support, but then you became clingy.
Right. So then the emotional is what I would need.
And I'm not driving you to say that. I'm just saying, like, yes, finance is important to all of us. However, how much does that really shape us?
Right. No, you're absolutely right. Because you have people who, struggle and come from nothing, and they're some of the greatest people you'll ever meet.
Exactly. My point exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
This is financial, but she
They can
doesn't
love
want to be
without
judged.
measures.
Okay, hey, Ro. Thank you. So my last question to you, it doesn't look like the audience have any more questions, is how did opening up to us make you feel?
There was definitely some resistance. But after a while, I got comfortable, and you and everybody made me feel comfortable. So I appreciate everybody. But there definitely was some resistance at first.
Is there anything that you want to share with us that we did not have the opportunity to ask?
Nobody asked me if I have kids. I don't have any kids.
Got you. I think that would have been something you would have brought up, and that's why we didn't ask, because I know once we talked about boyfriends, you would have said, and boom,
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have kids.
Nope.
What else? Anything else?
So I was supposed to, but things didn't pan out. Do you want kids? Eventually, I do. Yes.
When you say supposed to, was it planned to not have it, or?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Ladies, and my last question to you is, will you feel comfortable, because I like to post my my shows on YouTube. Will you feel comfortable if I posted this on YouTube?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, please. Okay. Medusa has a question. What do you feel is keeping you away from finding that true love partner?
Fear.
Fear of?
Fear of finding it and then fumbling it. Like I usually do. So.
Kiwi Shell said, do you want kids?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel like a lot of times now you self-sabotage? Because I know it's been really short relationships, like 4, 5, 6 months. Do you feel like you self-sabotage yourself in those relationships?
Absolutely, 100%.
And what have you been doing to work on it?
Not engaging in relationships. Stopping and thinking.
I recommend doing exactly what you're doing now. Taking care of yourself and making yourself better every day. Every day you should see a change in yourself. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please give Spinks a round of applause. Spinks, I
Thank
want to
you,
say it was
guys.
such a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are in here, Spinks is trying to hit, I believe, 3,000 faves. Make sure you hit her with a fave. Also, y'all, we have 10 hours and 40 minutes left to send as many gifts to myself as possible, y'all. Okay, I'm only stressing this out because these gifts are for the qualifiers. And when I say qualifiers, that means these are the people who are going to qualify to be in the battle games. Y'all know what the battle games are. And if you don't, the battle games is the big battles that the app put together. Okay, in order for me to participate in it, I need y'all to put me at the top 20. Okay, so please work extremely hard to get me there so that way we can make the app fun again and we could participate and we could get this win and win the belt. You know, if Marty Party is in it, we could make it kind of tough for him to win, okay? All right, y'all. Thank you so much, Spanks. We got one more interview. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. That was Spanks. We have one more interview, and that person, I believe, was in the building early. And if you are still in the building, hit the plus sign and come in as a guest and do exactly what role model HJK Cooks is doing. That is spin the wheel, y'all, until we get her in the box. So if Top Badge Latina could get in the box, that will be awesome, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce y'all to the one they call Top Badge Afro Latina. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Afro Latina to the show. What's up? What's up? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good. I'm sorry for the, sometimes I know we told you sometimes these interviews run a little bit over time. They be
Yeah.
so good, man. They be so
Yeah,
good.
I feel you.
All
I
right.
feel you. I was like, I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I got time.
Got you,
So
got you.
yeah.
So we always like to start off real easy, because I know sometimes we're nervous, but remember this is a mini autobiography of your life. So if you decide to like hold things back, the audience will feel that you're holding back as well as, you want it
Yeah.
to, if it's your autobiography, you want it to be as authentic as possible. So
Yeah.
if there is some things that I bring up and you do not want to talk about, all you got to do is be like, we're going to pass on that. So
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
okay. Are you open to?
So I'm an open book. I'm a Virgo. So come on, let's go.
All right, good, good.
You know what I'm
So
saying? Like I
we
don't got.
we gonna start, we gonna start with the easy question. What brought you to this app?
So, years ago, I used to stream on another platform, Facebook, and I used to do that for so long. I've had so many people that used to come to me all the time and say that I have a TV personality, that I should do podcasts, I should do different things because I would have like so many different conversations. I would talk about things that people, are too scared or don't want to talk about because it's kind of hard. A lot of times people like to scoop certain subjects under the rug or whatever. So I was always that type of person, a go-getter and, very blunt, straightforward. My approach is always assertiveness, even though most people think I'm aggressive. But if you look at the definitions, it's a little bit different. Not saying that I can't be aggressive, but sometimes people use words out of context. So eventually somebody was telling me that there was another app called POF, which I was on POF like years ago, but they didn't have the streaming side.
Right.
So then I think I came across Meet Me and I said, oh, let me see what this is about. And so I think I made an account and then I started going into people's streams and I was like, oh, I really like this because this is kind of like what I do. But then obviously over there, you don't get paid or compensated for anything.
Right.
So when I realized that, you can gift on here, you can set up a community, you can actually build and actually have a streaming career, that's what really interested me. So then for the first 3 months, I was actually a gifter. I was a Black VIP. And then eventually I knew I was going to stream. So then when I started streaming, that's kind of like how I started building and, I started, what do you call it? Networking. I started networking with people and started liking streamers and started liking things that, were going on the app, despite the trolls and the negativity and all that. But, overall,
Right.
like you can gain a lot of positive things from the app as well, too. So, yeah.
So Who's your favorite streamers? Like, which streamers, when you came on here, what streamers inspired you?
I don't know if they inspired me, but I did like a couple of streamers. One of them was Princess. I don't know if you guys know who she is. She was Virgo too, and she used to like kind of like go off on people, and it was like more of the entertainment of that. And it's like, oh my gosh, she's kind of like me, very blunt, straightforward, don't care. She speaks her mind. But then eventually, after I started kind of like seeing certain things about her, I'm just like, I mean, I know I talk my. This ain't featured, is it?
No,
No?
it's not featured. Dad.
Okay,
You talk your shit.
okay. So I was like, I'm not that blunt, when it comes to, or I'm not that mean when it comes to just ridiculing somebody and stuff. So I just started kind of falling back because I'm just like, she, gets drunk and stuff. And I don't know. I'm just like, I was rooting for you at one point, but then it started becoming like, are you bipolar? Like, are you just, I don't know. So then I started going to other people's streams and stuff. And then I started just, liking and taking kind to other people and stuff. And so I've had like my day ones and stuff, but long story, I don't mess with them. Fast forward, there are people that I do, like and support that I constantly go to, like Hurley, she's a top badge. There's a lot of people, Nurse Joy, you got Lady VIP, there's so many people to list, that I try to, make it if I can with my busy schedule off the app as well too, because I am also a top badge. So I have to grind for mine and, do what I have to do as far as my streaming career. But yeah.
So where is Afro Latina from?
So originally I'm from California. Okay. So I lived most of my life in Missouri though, because my dad is from Missouri. So I kind of been going back and forth, and I've lived in Florida at one point. I lived in Ohio at one point, Kansas City, and of course Vegas. And that was like in my teenage years or whatever. And then for my background, my mom is Puerto Rican and my dad is Black. So my mom is from Brooklyn, New York, and my dad is originally from St. Louis, Missouri. And then my grandparents are from San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Where did you grow up at?
Missouri, St. Louis. That's
St. Louis?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you consider home. But did you spend majority of your years there, or?
So I did, but again, I've been going back and forth. So like when I was, from the ages from maybe newborn all the way up to 2, maybe I was in California, then I went to St. Louis. And then my grandmother would watch me, months at a time. Then I would go back to California. So it was kind of like a back and forth type of thing. But I would say that because I've lived most of my residency in Missouri, I would say that that's probably what I consider home.
Got you. So break it down to us. Like, let us know, like, who'd you grow up with? What was your household like when you was a kid?
Yeah, my dad. So my mom and my dad obviously split, and my dad, was very very conscious and very adamant about having me and raising me and stuff. So my mom didn't fight him on that. So I think when I was about, I want to say 5, because my grandmother was like raising me as well too. I think my mom and dad split. He came back to St. Louis, and then we kind of, lived there, and then he, raising me or whatever. He died when I was 13. And then my mom came and got me. And then, I lived with her for a while, but then there was personal issues that were going on with her boyfriend. And I had to leave, came back to St. Louis to live with my grandmother. So.
Got you. So you mentioned a big factor. Your dad was pretty much raising you on his own because your mom split from him, and she was okay with your dad raising you. And he passed away when you was 13 years old.
Yeah.
How did that feel for you? Like, you're a young teenage child, and you lost your dad.
Yeah.
My condolences, by the way.
Oh, thank you. So on the block, I used to have my friends that I would play with all the time, and I was close to them, and my dad was also close with their family as well too. And so one day, because I knew that my dad and my grandma would always argue, my uncle and my dad would always argue and stuff, and mostly, my uncle was probably jealous of him because he felt like my dad was smarter, and because he was a Virgo, too. And not saying that Virgos are only people that are smart or anything like that, but you know, if you understand a Virgo, you know how we operate. You know how we think and stuff. So I knew that they were always like confrontations and stuff like that. And I just knew that it was always a bickering thing, but I never thought that one day would result to, you know, blood and murder, really, you know. So I was down the street, I was, you know, playing with my friend, and then all of a sudden I started seeing all these cop cars come to my grandmother's door or at the house. And I'm just like, oh, well, I wonder what happened because, you know, I know that they argue all the time. So I go there, you know, I'm running up the street. I go open the door and I see my dad laying in front of my grandmother's TV on the floor with blood gushing out his head. And I was at that point in time, I was processing it because for me, I'm a late bloomer, meaning that it doesn't hit me right away. It usually takes like a couple of days where it starts to resonate with me. And then I start, you know, maybe go through my sorrows and my grievance or whatever. But I was just shocked. It was just like, wow, like, you know, what the hell is going on here, you know? And then I think my friend's mom escorted me back down to the house, and then they, you know, took him out on the stretcher and everything. They took him to the hospital. And then eventually, obviously, they came back and said that he was pronounced dead. And then, so even at that time, I was still in shock. I'm just like, you know, is this really happening? Is this, you know, real or whatever? So then throughout the years, it was a hard dose for me to swallow because then it started hitting me. It started, you know, affecting my livelihood. It started affecting my mentals and stuff like that. I was depressed all the time. I was, you know, in the dark space, you know, and eventually, you know, I started like healing from that, you know, which is around the time when I got saved, you know, baptized. When I was 20, I want to say 22, 23. So that kind of helped a lot, you know, with my faith and everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let's take it up. You mentioned your mom having a boyfriend.
Mhm.
How was your relationship with your mom first?
Well, my mom, I guess I would say that we had an okay relationship because, you know, I was with my dad most of the, you know, the time of him raising me. And so for me to be with my mom, I knew who she was. You know, because throughout a certain phase of my life, you know, I grew up with my cousins on, you know, with my mom and my dad and stuff. So I kind of remembered those memories and stuff like that. But it was just more so me just, I guess, reacclimating myself to, you know, my mom and everything. And I guess I would say we had an okay relationship, but I think her boyfriend was the reason why there was tension there because I didn't like him because he was very abusive and stuff. I was 13. It happened when I was 13. You know, he molested me. And so you know, from that point on, I couldn't deal with it anymore. And that's why I went back to St. Louis to live with my grandmother because, you know, I couldn't process and deal with all that, you know. And then for so many years, I hated my mom for that because, you know, I'm like, you're with a man that, you know, is doing these type of things or whatever. And yeah, so like, you know, but then throughout the time, like throughout years and stuff like that, you know, she's, you know, realized that I guess she was depressed and she felt really, really sorry and bad and stuff because, you know, she should have like believed me because I guess she didn't really believe me or whatever. It was one of those like situations. And, you know, she realized that she should have believed me and stuff. And, you know, she just hated herself for even like, I guess, being with him for whatever time that she was. And then she had split from him or whatever. So I think now that she realizes that she goes to bed with that, you know, with that, the conscious, you know, and we've talked and she's apologized and, you know, I'm a forgiving person and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? And I know that she's, you know, regrets a lot of stuff, you know what I mean? So
let me ask you this, okay? Let's take a beat real quick. That's a lot to process. That's a lot to process. So, and I'm sorry, I just want you to bring it back there real quick. When it happened, did you then go and tell your mom right away?
So when it happened the first time I was shocked. I was just like, you know, I don't know if he was drunk or whatever. And I'm just like, you know, okay, whatever. So then when the second time, and it was usually at night or whatever, the second time, you know, I was fighting, you know, basically like, what are you doing? Like, you know, get off of me, you know? And then he stopped and he went back into my mom's and them or their room or whatever. And then I think, I want to say that week is when I told her, and I was like, I can't deal with this anymore, because he was also abusive to her, you know, like physically. And so I told her that I can't live here in this house or whatever. And when I left to be with my grandmother, that's when I told her over the phone. And I guess she may have not processed it, or maybe, you know, I don't know what was in her mind at the time, but that's kind of like how that unraveled. So.
Got you. So what was her response to you when you said, "Hey, I can't be here. This is what happened." What was her response to you?
So her original response was, you know, I can't believe that he did that. Oh my God, or whatever. And this is, like I said, when I was with my grandmother at the time, when I did convey that to her over the phone. And I'm thinking in my mind that maybe she's going to leave him after I told him that, but she, you know, still stayed with him. But my cousins later told me that she felt like I was lying to her, that I was not being honest with her or whatever. That was kind of like a big thing with that.
All right, let me cut my sound off. Thank you, Marty. Thank you for the love, y'all. Please, guys, we're trying to place in the battle game, so do exactly what Marty's doing. Thank you so much. Sorry, Afro. So what happened after that?
So after that, I mean, like I said, I went with my grandmother. I lived with her, you know, and then eventually I moved out. I got my own place. You know, I was working and everything, and then got married, moved to Georgia, because at the time my husband was in the military. So he had orders out of Georgia, and that's where we moved. And then he had a baby. I only have one kid. It's a son. He just turned 13 on the 5th of September. He's a Virgo just like me. My birthday's Saturday. I'll be turning 42. So yeah. So that's, you know, I guess the extent of that.
So wait, hold up. She jumped the gun here. Hold on. We're gonna go all the way back down, because how old were you when you got married?
26.
All right, so we're gonna jump back to when you was a teen, right? And take us into, we want to know who you were as a child, right? So take us back to when you was in school. Like, were you popular? Did you when your dad was taking care of you versus your mom? Were you known as a popular kid? Were you not? Did you
So
feel was y'all wealthy? Did you have money to buy like all the cool stuff like the kids wore, or did
yeah.
you care about that?
So my grandmother was wealthy. She had a good job, and she, I guess, would buy me gifts. And my dad, that was one of the things that my dad was upset about her, because she would buy me gifts, and he thought that she was buying my love with gifts. So I think now, fast forwarding as an adult that I am now, I used to believe and think that if you spend money on me or if you do things for me, that means that you love me. But in reality, it really doesn't mean that, because people can spend a bag and still treat you like shit, you know, have 1,000 concubines or whatever, you know what I mean? So it all has to correlate to one another. And I learned that like years ago. So, as a child or a teenager going to high school, my grandma lived in the hood. You know, I was raised in the hood. So when I went to the school, you know, obviously, you know, it's on the black side, right? And so I used to always have to fight with a lot of women, because they used to think that I was a preppy white girl because I was light skinned and because of my hair texture. And I'm just like, so what? I'm black, you know, and I had to fight and feud with them. Like, you're not black, you're white, you're this, you're that. And I'm just like, I have black Afrocentric features. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care what type of hair that I got, you know. I know that at the end of the day, like, even though I'm black and Puerto Rican, Hispanics are basically black anyway, even though some is going to deny that or whatever. But, you know, it was a big thing with that. And I was actually intimidated and shy. I wasn't really a blunt, outspoken person that I am today. I was very scared of speaking up and having a voice and stuff like that. So, so yeah, I dealt with that, for a while. And, then, like I said, I, started, going to different intervals in my life, different chapters and stuff like that. So, you know.
Gotcha. So, so would you say that you were bullied in school or were you popular in school?
I wouldn't say popular. I was definitely not popular. If more so on the bully side, I would say. Then I guess, yeah, I was definitely not popular.
How did you overcome that?
Um, Honestly, just living day by day. Just you know, I guess taking it, day by day and just doing the best as I could that I knew at that point in time what I could do. And a lot of it was me ignoring a lot of stuff, me just staying to myself. I guess I don't want to say I was a nerd, but I was kind of like just to myself. I wasn't really a person that, talked to a lot of people, or I mean, I tried for like maybe like a handful of people that I felt comfortable with, but I wasn't like an outspoken, hey, I want to be everybody's friend type thing. I just more so kept to myself. And I think for me at that time, it helped me because it kind of kept me out of, a lot of situations and stuff like that.
What about boys? Were you attracted to boys? Did you have boyfriends when you was in like junior high school or
Yeah.
elementary?
So I've always had like boy crushes and stuff like that. I thought that, if a boy was cute, I would have a little crush on him or whatever. Just the typical, what teenagers go through when they have a crush on somebody or whatever. Now that never really came into fruition or whatever. It was just always just a crush, right? Then, like I said, when I got out of high school, it was about 12th grade going out. I was curious and stuff, so I would mess with girls. And then I guess at that time I was still trying to find myself. And so when I was like in my early 20s or whatever, I was in this relationship with this woman, and this it didn't work. I mean, it was just a toxic relationship. Like I'm just like, yeah, this ain't for me, because a part of me still knew that I was attracted to men, and she didn't like that, and it was her being controlling, and I'm just like, well, you know what, this ain't for me. I'm just gonna stick on the pogo stick side, whatever. But I do find women attractive, but I could never be in a relationship with a woman because I just feel like that's just, But yeah, I've had wild times and stuff like threesomes and stuff like that. So, but now, like where I'm at now, though, I just want a wholesome man to help, as far as the functionality of a home, because I'm more traditional that way. And, that's just kind of like where I'm at with it. So
Afro, I want to point out something. I absolutely adore the way you rumble through stuff and just move along as if we don't want details.
I mean,
Does anyone else notice
I
that?
don't know what
Yeah,
details
I
want,
ain't coochie, but I had a couple of boyfriends, had threesomes, but yeah, I'm at the point in my life where we go back that old screw. Girlfriend, you
Every time
mentioned.
y'all some freaks up in here.
So we
what-
want the details, girl. We want the details. Give it to us. Give it to us. So boom, here we are. I thought Afro Latino was just, straight and narrow. But it seemed like you took a curve, you know? So you took a left turn, you took a right turn, you ran into. So will you consider yourself bisexual? Do you put a label to yourself?
I don't know if I would consider myself a bisexual, because again, like where I'm at now, I'm more attracted to men. Like that is my prime focus. Now, for me, with a woman, if I'm out and about, we're drinking and some pop off, and that don't mean that I will, but because I have been with women before, maybe, but she gotta be a bad bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like for me to even like go there anyway. But I don't know. It's one of those things where it may not happen.
What's your definition of a bad bitch?
So for me, I've always been a mental person, a sapiosexual, right? So I feel like if you can stimulate me mentally and you can like get to levels within myself that most typical people can't, then I'm going to be attracted to you. So like at one point I thought I was a pansexual, right? But then I'm like, because with a dating scene and going, dating several guys that disappointed you, and you're just like, this is not it. But then even also some females be on some bullshit too, because I have friends that are gay that that have relations with women, and it's like almost the same as far as with a man and a woman sometimes, And so I just, for me as of right now, I would like a wholesome man. That's like what I would want. But then it's like, 2 years from down the line, I don't know. Like, I'm just at this point where it's like, I just want to be happy. You know what I'm saying? I just want to be happy. But then it's like, I do like the anatomy of a man. I do like the penetration and what comes with the vitamin D, because, gotta have my dosage, you know what I'm saying? But and that's another thing too. It's been almost 5 years, believe it or not, that I have not had sex with anybody. Yep. So since me and my husband like split, we were separated for a while, then eventually we got divorced and stuff. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm 42, but yeah.
5 years.
Almost 5 years. I won't say 5, it was 4.5. 4.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like it.
I'm a reborn virgin. I know. Just call me Mary. All right. Just call me Mary.
Okay. That's wow. All right. We got a lot to unpack here. So, all right, boom. We hit the lesbian curve, right? Boom. So you mentioned threesomes.
Yeah.
Okay. How did that get started? Were you seeing someone at the
okay.
time that introduced you? Was this something you planned? Or?
No. So like at the time, my best friend that I thought was my best friend when I was in St. Louis, we knew each other for a long time. We used to go out all the time and stuff like that. One day I didn't know that she was into girls, because that was kind of like the time where I was like curious and finding myself and stuff like that. And so, one day, we were, because I think I spent the night over at her grandmother's house. And, we were in her room and stuff. We were just talking and stuff. And then it just came up that I guess she's been with females before. And I was just like, oh, okay. And then, we had like a one-on-one thing going on or whatever. Like, I mean, she just kind of took it. I just laid, I was a pillow princess. And so I was just like, damn, I didn't know that you was, wanted the cooch like that. You know what I'm saying? She wanted the snail trail, you know what I'm saying? The vitamins and shit. I'm like, and she had a tongue ring too. So it just heightened that. Like, I was just like, oh my God. So then she was into guys though, mostly though. So like with the female thing, it was only like for pleasure and just for fun. It wasn't like that she was trying to be with a female in a relationship. And it was just for fun. So her boyfriends or the guys that she would date, she would sometimes come to me and say, hey, you know what? They're interested in doing a threesome. You down, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I have to feel the person. I have to feel the vibes or whatever. So then we would go out, to, either a restaurant or a bar or whatever. And we would hang out and stuff like that. And, then we'll go back to her place. And then, one thing leads to another. And boom, we, did it. So.
Got you. So, have you ever returned the favor to her?
To return, like, oh, you mean like go down on a woman?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it. I did it once, and that was the girl that I was in a relationship with. But for me, though, I feel like I don't do a good job at that. Like, that's not my
area of expertise.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, I just feel out of place or whatever. But the people that I've been with prefer to be the giver anyway, because they didn't really like to receive. So I was just like, okay. And I guess that's what they call a pillow princess, right? Yeah. Yeah.
So boom. So now, what was your first serious relationship?
My first serious relationship when I was 17. It was with this guy I was with for 2 years. It was my first boyfriend. I really thought I loved him. I thought we were going to get married and everything. But of course, it didn't work out. We split or parted ways or whatever.
And why didn't it work out?
Because at the time, I wanted marriage. I wanted a more security on the relationship. And at the time, he just wasn't like on that or whatever. So then I said, okay, well, we could just be friends and just split. And then it don't be no hard feelings. And he was cool with that. So it was a clean breakup. It wasn't like it was a hard or that we hated each other and nothing like that. It's just that we just wanted different things, you know. Yeah.
At that time, what was the things you wanted?
So here's the thing. So we were together for 2 years, but then we broke it off, right? And then remember when I told you when I got saved later on when I was 25, I kind of went back to revisit that relationship. And so at that point, I wanted, a family. I wanted children. I wanted to, have a husband, that sort of thing, the red picket or the white picket fence. And he didn't, I guess he wasn't on that even then. So then I was like, okay, well, that's something that I'm looking forward to or what I'm striving for, whatever, to find a man like that. And so, we just kind of just stayed friends or whatever. So that's kind of like the turning point of what I wanted out of a relationship with somebody.
Right. So now that relationship, obviously, it didn't work out. And were you working during the time? How old were you when you got your first job?
I was 15 or 16 when I had my first job, and it was at McDonald's, and I hated it. So I was there for 2 weeks, and I was just like, this is not for me. I don't know. Fast food, this is not for me. So then I had a friend that was telling me about this other job that was hiring, which was group home, where you work with group home, or we work with people with disabilities and stuff like that, whether they have like Down syndrome or autism or whatever. There's organizations where they need staff support to help, people help them with their daily activities and stuff like that. So I did that for years, and I actually loved my job. So I went from fast food to home health care, basically. And I did that for so many years, and I actually loved it and enjoyed it until I got married. And then I had to resign from my job, and, I moved, and I was a stay-at-home mother for 3 years, 4 years until my son was able to.
So you got married. All right, so you're jumping again. You're jumping. Hold up. Marriage, y'all. Pause the tape. I want to know. We're gonna start at the very beginning when you guys met. Where were you at? What stage of life were you in? What we want the details. So tell me who hollered at who.
For my husband,
Let me ask you this real quick before you even start talk. Are you comfortable right now?
Yeah.
Like in your house, are you comfortable?
Yeah.
I just want you to like zone out and really try to put yourself back in that moment. And tell us.
So you're talking about when I met my husband?
When you met your husband.
Okay. So my husband at the time was in Georgia. I'm trying to think of the station. I forgot the station, but he was in Georgia. And now before I met my husband, right? I was this guy that was I met him off of Facebook. He was in the military, right? Mm-hmm. And I didn't know that he was stationed in Georgia because he was from east side St. Louis, on the east side of St. Louis. And so we had got up and we, went to a couple of dates, or we went on a couple of dates or whatever. And, I really did like him and stuff. And I thought that, okay, this is a guy that I can see myself with or whatever. We were kind of like dating for like a couple of months or whatever. And so he told me that he had orders because he's in the military that he had to go back to Georgia or whatever. And I said, okay, that's fine. So when he went back to Georgia on my birthday, I said, I'm going to do a surprise birthday and go drive. I think it was like 6, 7, 8 hours that I drove to surprise him, right? On my birthday, I come to find out that he had a bitch in the fucking room in the barracks. Found out. And I was just like, wow, So that really shattered me. That hurt me. I mean, I was like, man, now that at that point, I was like Medusa coming out of me, the snakes and everything. Like I'm ready to go. You know what I'm saying? Like I drove 6, 7, 8 hours to you. And, this is like the things that I get. Like that's bullshit, And so when he got caught, it was one of those things where it's like, oh, well, why did you drive up here? Like basically gaslighting it, and I'm just like, well, if me and you are in a relationship, because technically I thought we were in a relationship because he, agreed to the relationship. you can't sit there and do that to someone because now you got caught and now you don't want to suffer the repercussions of your decisions or whatever.
Right.
So the girl that I talked to that he was messing around with, she was telling me that, yeah, we've been, talking and having sex for 2 weeks, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, wow, like he actually tried to propose to me, by the way. And she was like, what, so when I told her what was going on, she got disgusted and everything. And I think she kind of stopped messing with him. And so he just looked stupid. And at the time, I didn't really have no place to go to because I'm thinking that I was going to stay with him in the barracks, And so that's where my husband comes into play. So I'm walking around. So at the time, my husband comes up to me and he's like, yeah, I know who the guy that, was doing that to you, and that's messed up. And, I can't believe that he would do a woman like that and blah, blah, blah. So then I started getting to know him. And, we went out to eat and stuff like that. So he offered a room, like his barracks to me, because I didn't have nowhere to go. So he was like, if you need to crash somewhere, you can crash here, because I don't want you out in the streets or whatever. You're a woman, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, I appreciate it. And he was such a gentleman, so like very eager to help and stuff like that. So I stayed in the room, we didn't do anything. And then I drove back, I think the next day. And I was just so hurt because, when a Virgo gives their heart to somebody and somebody portrays them, it's like the deepest hurt in the world for us. Like we can't breathe, kill us. There's no point to live. Like we love very hard and our loyalty is to a fault, and I hate that, and I was just so miserable. And then eventually, because we did exchange phone numbers. So then we started talking every day after I got back home, and one thing led to another. And we started developing a friendship, and then it went from that to us, having feelings for each other and stuff like that. And, so that's how, we got together and got married and stuff like that.
So let me ask you this. Was he friends with your ex?
No, they didn't. Well, actually, the guy, my ex-boyfriend, did not like my ex-husband because he was telling me like, oh, well, I don't like him because he thinks that he's this and that and blah, blah, blah. So they never really liked each other anyway.
Right.
So they yeah.
Got you. So did there tension between the two of them after you guys hooked up and got together?
No, because they wasn't really like they were in the same they was in the same barrack division or whatever, but I don't think they actually worked together per se. They just knew who each other was.
Got you.
Yeah.
All right, I got you. So how would you describe your relationship with him during that time? Right away, were you attracted to him or?
Yeah, he was cute. He was handsome. He was a handsome guy. He wasn't not attractive. So yeah, I would definitely say that I was attracted to him in the sense of like, oh yeah, he's cute. So yeah.
Would you say you were in love?
You know what? At the time when I got married, I thought I was because I wanted to be in love so bad and have that perfect relationship with somebody. But then later on, getting to know myself and working on myself and stuff like that, it wasn't in love. It was just, I wanted that, but he didn't, I guess, want that or didn't feel that way or whatever. I'm assuming because, there was too many loopholes that caused him to like damage the relationship, I guess. And so, I just thought that, what, this is what in my heart, I wanted, for God and everything. I'm trying to have a family. I'm trying to be a Christian, blah, 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 blah. And, it did not work out in my favor, but I knew that my heart was in the right place with God. So that's one thing I can say, you know what I'm saying? Whether if it didn't work out or not,
Gotcha. What do you feel like your biggest downfall in the relationship was?
I would say my biggest downfall was probably, I'm an argumentative type of person. Like when you do something that I don't like, I can nag and stay on your ass, but I would say probably just being very argumentative and stuff like that instead of me handling it in a different way, in a sense of maybe I should not have, said the things that I said because I was upset and angry. But then if you look at it, it's a reflection of how he made me feel because of him cheating and the things that he was doing that was abusive. So like for me, I'm just going to like say and do whatever I can at that moment, because, we're talking about emotional distraught, and usually when somebody is in their emotions and they're upset, there's things that they're going to say, or, maybe some things that they're going to even do. But and then I would say, and you know what, and I hate to say this, but I would say that my downfall was probably too trustworthy, too loyal.
Exactly.
you
Have you
know
ever cheated in
no
your entire relationship? Have you ever cheated?
nope
Have you ever been accused of cheating?
nope I don't believe in cheating. Like, if I'm in a relationship, and that's why I say that Virgos are very loyal to a fault. I'm not saying that all Virgos, there's some men Virgos or whatever that may have cheated or whatever, but I am so loyal to the point that if somebody slides in my DM, I'm telling my significant other, like, hey, look at this motherfucker in my DM. You see this? That's how open I am. You know what I mean? And if for some reason I could never get that with any of the people that I've ever been with, because they would either try to hide it or, entertain it or whatever. But yeah, I don't believe in cheating. I feel like if you're going to cheat and there's somebody else, then just break off the relationship, because obviously you don't want them, right? And if you want to go try to find yourself and go do whatever it is that you wanting to do, then just break it off with that individual, because that's selfish to keep somebody around when you know that you are making them look bad and making them look like a clown by you out here doing whatever it is to make. And it's a reflection, and that's why I don't believe in cheating. You just do better cutting it, or calling the relationship off and just go your separate ways.
I definitely agree with that. And I'm the same way. I'm the same way. So how did your child come to play?
So, again, so when I got married, I wanted, a child. I prayed for it and stuff. Cause at one point for the first 2 years that we were married, I couldn't get pregnant. So I didn't know that if it was me or if it was him. I'm like, I do want a child because that's something that I've, kind of, envisioned or whatever. And then after, I guess me praying and stuff like that, then I felt like, I did get pregnant at that point. It was God's will or whatever, had a baby, stay-at-home mother, like I said, and I did that until he went to kindergarten. But then, like I said, that's kind of like where me and my husband were having rocky moments and stuff in our relationship, in our marriage. And we were like separated for a while, and then he would be deployed and stuff. And then
What caused those rocky moments?
So like we would argue and stuff, and instead of him like talking about it right then and there, he would just leave for like a day or so, or say that he's at work or at the barracks or whatever. And that was the time that I think that he was seeing another woman that he worked with in the barracks. And so I just knew that something was off. I just knew that something, was off, because, women are intuitive. We have intuition and discernment a lot of the times, right? And when something is not right, we pick up on a lot of stuff. So I'm just like, his behavior is off. The cycles and patterns are not lying, So, eventually I guess wanted to believe that he would never be the one to cheat, right? I just wanted to believe that so bad. So then he goes and gets deployed, right? But again, he's acting different. He's acting weird, right? And I'm like, I know how you are. So I know something, I'm picking up something that is not normal in terms of the way that you are handling things and the things that you're saying and your patterns and stuff like that. So he goes deploys. I'm like, okay, all right, cool. I go through his email, because at the time I was a liaison for him with a lot of paperwork and stuff that I would have to do for him in the military. And I would have access to everything, like his emails and different accounts and stuff like that. So I'm in his email one day and I see that there's an email from him and this other chick that I guess he was working with, and it was very intimate. That email was very intimate between them. I'm like, okay, so obviously you've been cheating or whatever. So I found out after I read like a few more emails, and she was stating in the email that she thinks that she's pregnant. So I saw that and I said, oh, hold up. So at the time, my son was 3 months, or no, my son was 6 months old. And I took my son, I went to the barracks, I'm driving, rushing. And I get down there. And then so I was like, I'm going to talk to her. I'm not going to try to beat her up or nothing like that, because I want to try to understand this in terms of from her point of view and what's going on and stuff like that. So I go down there. At first she thought that I was going to try to fight her and beat her up and stuff like that. But then I was talking to somebody else to let her know that, hey, I just want to talk, because this is my husband. I don't know, what he said to you, or if you knew anything or whatever. So, we talking and stuff. And then so she's like, well, he told me that you guys are getting a divorce. He told me that you guys are separated, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, well, we're not, because we haven't had that talk. Right. And so then she was telling me that he was basically pursuing her and dating her and stuff like that. And that he would, spend nights in her room in the barracks. Obviously, they're having sex and stuff like that. And so she just felt disgusted, because she's like, well, he obviously been lying to me and you. And I'm like, yeah, And then so he calls her from the deployment center where he was at. Right. And I was with her. So he calls and I'm like, go ahead and take the call. So she's like, yeah, I can't believe that you would do this to me, knowing that you was still with your wife or whatever. And so he's acting like, oh my God, I guess he didn't know what to say. I'm going off on him at this point. And I'm just like, what, you ain't right. That's grimy as hell, blah, blah, blah. And so he was like, well, I apologize. You right. I just should have broke it off and this and that and blah, blah, blah. But I was so upset. I talked to his chain of command and I'm like, this is some BS. So I guess the chain of command may have gotten to his ass, because they don't play with, in the military, especially when you are
infidelity and stuff like that. They don't
play with infidelity. They don't play with adultery and stuff like that.
Too.
So I guess his chain of command drilled his ass and got into his ass so bad that I got a phone call after that week telling me that he tried to commit suicide. Basically, he tried to hang himself, but it wasn't successful, because by the time they got to him, they was able to resuscitate him and stuff like that. So then, he was in the hospital for almost 6 months, 7 months, because he was unresponsive and stuff. But at the time, I'm your wife, so I have to be by your bedside, what have you, when they flew him back into the United States, to Georgia or whatever. And then I was still kind of there to, I guess, help him, I guess, how can I put this? I was there to try to aid him as much as I could, as far as my responsibility as a wife still, And eventually he was able to talk again and walk and do certain things and stuff like that. And I just kind of was just there, just for the support or whatever. But I just knew in my mind that we're just not going to probably end up together like that. You know what I'm saying? We're eventually probably going to get divorced. We're probably going to go our separate ways, whatever. And, so I did that for a while. And then eventually he got back on his feet. He was able to work again and stuff like that. And then it just wasn't working out still. And I'm just like, yeah, we were going to have to part our ways, because you already cheated. You already did these things and stuff. You're abusive. You're trying to be abusive physically to me. And I'm just not going to tolerate that. Right. And my son at the time was 4, 5 or whatever when he was acting that way. And I'm like, I don't want this for my son. And I'm not going to deal with any type of physical abuse or even mental or psychological or even spiritual abuse. I'm not going to do that, or financial abuse, because there's different types of abuse. So yeah, I left and we separated and stuff like that. And then, like I said, eventually we got a divorce. And so, yeah, he's doing whatever. And I'm a single mother and doing the best that I can for me and mine. So.
Gotcha. How old is your son now?
He's 13. He turned 13 this September 5th. He's a Virgo, just like me.
Oh, he's a Virgo too. Nice. So what is your proudest moment?
As far as what? Because there's
in your life, what was your proudest moment?
I would say my proudest moment was me getting baptized, for me. Because when I did that, that opened up a lot of gates for my blessings and stuff. That opened up a lot of opportunities and stuff, as far as just me letting go of the pain that I was struggling with, a lot of things that I was struggling with and stuff like that, that really helped me to heal. That really helped me to come to be, a person that can love unconditionally, even though that does not necessarily mean that you have to be with that individual or whatever, but it's just having that mercy and that forgiveness for people, and being able to kind of like have that same type of love that God has for us. That's really helped me. Even though that, yeah, I know that we're human, we go off on each other and we talk shit, whatever. But initially, I want everybody to be a better reflection of themselves. Even though despite all the trolls, even the ones that came in here and talked their shit or whatever, it's like you're hurting from something. Like you have low vibrational frequency levels. And that's a mental thing. That's something that you need to like get that together off the app or something, and they come here to try to like, to I guess expose that, or to be the, the culprit of that or whatever. So, it is what it is. And that's why a lot of things don't faze me, and people that say whatever to me, I can care less. If you're not Jesus, I can really care less, because the things I've been through as a woman, and me healing, and me knowing what it takes to be a significant person, to love, to be able to be there unconditionally, to be there, to, to have, to have love, and to help people when you can, it's like, you can't tear nobody down when you're dealing with a strong-minded person. You know what I'm saying? Like, nothing really was really going to phase you for real, because what it is, just words, right? It's the same. Oh, you're this, you're that, you're blah, blah. Okay. And then it's like they've been through probably worse, probably, that's why they're, trolling and doing whatever. So that's why I said, that's why a lot of stuff doesn't get to me. It really doesn't, Now I will say this. Now, if somebody brings up my son or something like that, I'm very sensitive when it comes to that. So now you may get a different reaction,
Right.
And people has done that in my stream. They have done that. I mean, sick, perverted people. Like, oh my God. Yeah.
To me, none of that matters. Like, my daughter has tough skin too. Like, I raised her to have tough skin, and like, you roast her, she gonna start roasting you back. Like, and that's what we do. So
Exactly.
we grew up roasting each other. Ain't nothing nobody could say to me. I roast myself. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's the type of person I am. I love a good joke.
Yeah.
So stuff like that, it has never fazed me. Like, I'll sit on stream and I'll start roasting myself. Like, I come on here looking crazy and shit. But
I do the same thing.
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
What moment in your life shaped you the most?
I would say when I had my son. That really shaped me, because prior to me having a child, I was eating fast food. Like, I didn't cook. Like, I just, I'm just living like a single person with no kids, because it's a little different, when you have kids versus when you don't have kids. So I feel like when I had my son, that just made me be a better, I guess, a representation of my womanhood, as far as me being that wife, that, the woman that stays home, cooks, clean. I mean, I was cleaning and stuff like that, but I'm saying, like, actually cooking meals and, just doing things that, most single mothers do, that kind of helped me mold into, I guess, paving me into the areas that I needed to be in, as far as like my femininity, because I was a tomboy. I was, with the guys all the time, playing football and stuff like that. So I needed something to kind of soften my image a little bit, as far as like that femininity, and that definitely helped, so.
Do you still consider yourself a tomboy?
I don't really consider myself a tomboy per se, but I still like doing certain things. Like, I'm a gamer, so I do like playing games. I mean, I will go out and play sports like football, throw the football and stuff like that. Like, I have certain ways about me, but I still like to wear makeup and do my nails and look cute and put on a dress and stuff like that. So, you know what I mean?
So you said you play video game. You're a gamer. What system do you have?
PlayStation. If you tell me you have something else, I'm gonna end this interview right now.
Yeah, PS5 all the way.
Okay, I was about to end it. Bye. I can't associate
I
with
say
you.
having an Xbox is like having an Android. If you tell me you have an Android right now,
I have an iPhone all day.
okay.
iPhone all day. Okay, see, listen, we doing this right now.
All right. So, what games do you play on your system?
All right, so I'm a Resi fan, so I like Resident Evil games. So whether you're talking about Raccoon City, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now the remake that they did for 4, because my son for his birthday I got him an Oculus, and I never knew what that was until I started experiencing with it, and I'm like, oh my god, this is actually cool, because they made a game for the VR for the Oculus, the Resident Evil 4, and have you ever tried it or played it?
I have. That's a
Yeah,
whole
so
different world.
exactly. So I was like, oh my, it almost makes you feel like you're actually in the game, and I think it's dope. But aside from that, like there's some games that I like Friday the 13th that I'll play with, Monopoly, The Last of Us, that was dope, the 1 and 2.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Another game that I do like is um Uncharted. I like those.
Mhm.
I'm not into Call of Duty. I know that that's everybody's go-to game or whatever, but I'm just
What
not
about
really into it.
Fortnite?
No, that's my son. Like he was into Fortnite for a while, but yeah, I wasn't into Fortnite.
Got you. That's the game I be playing now. Yeah, we do Fortnite hard up in here. Oh,
Yeah,
house be
yeah, my son
playing.
was crazy about that. I just couldn't get into Fortnite. Like I said, my favorite games would be Resident Evil games. So those are going to be my first go-tos is Resident Evil, and then the Friday the 13th. That's also, I don't know if you've
Oh
ever
yeah,
played
I
that.
played that. I played that a lot too.
Yeah.
And then GTA. I used to mod in GTA and everything.
Yeah, I like GTA too, but I have to be in the mood to play GTA though.
Hey, JK, please. That Crash Bandicoot.
Hey,
So,
everybody played that game. Just hey, let's not talk about Super Nintendo now, because I love my Zelda.
oh my god.
Shit. I love me a
One of the
Zelda.
old school games I would always play would be Mario and then Sonic.
Mhm. Yeah, I like Sonic too. I like Mario games, but Zelda
Whatever
though,
Mortal
ooh, that's my
Kombat,
shit.
Tekken. I like Tekken. I like, Street Fighter.
Oh, Mortal Kombat 2 on PS5. Now I ain't gonna hold you. I probably will whoop your ass on there. I'm just saying, but
I'm telling you, you won't, but okay.
No,
I like the
okay, we can
XL
stream
though.
it.
Mortal Kombat, I got the XL one. So yeah, we could do this. We could do this.
All
All
right.
right. So
Hey.
so let me ask you this. Let's fast forward. What are you doing now?
As far as like
So right
what?
now I know you're happily divorced, I want to say.
Mhm.
All right. Are you looking to date?
Okay, this is what I'm going to say. Um, unless you are a monk or a priest or something like that, everybody yearns to be with a significant other, a mate, because even the Bible talks about that. I always say this: I want and need a wholesome man that's going to contribute in a healthy way. That's it. Now, if it's going to be toxic and all this other crazy, I don't need that. But if it's a person that God personally, if they are God designed, they have God in their life, they got, their principles and like their core values in order, then yes, most definitely I will be open to dating. But if you're not on that type of time or level, then no. I mean, we could be friends, we could be cool, and that's about it. But so it just right now it just kind of depends though, because it's like, I'm old school. I believe in the man pursues the woman,
Mhm.
I'm a streamer. So that means that if you're going to come into my stream, that means it has to be a little level of support. Obviously, if you're trying to go for a streamer, especially a top badge, you know, um, so, you know, that's just where I stand with that. You know what I mean?
Are you open to dating someone on this app?
A gifter, but not a streamer.
So why not? That's where I was getting. Why not a streamer?
Because like I said, I've been on this app for almost 3 years now, and I don't know. I just feel like it's a lot of chaotic toxicity when it comes to when you're trying to date somebody that's also a streamer. There's a lot that I've seen like a lot of different scenarios and people that has been involved in those type of situations and stuff. And I just prefer not to, I prefer my man not to be in, as a streamer. And, because when you're a streamer, there's certain things that you have to, do as far as like present yourself as, you know what I'm saying? And I just feel like that would not be conducive in terms of what I'm looking for, in my relationship. You know what I mean? So like a gifter, that's cool, because then it's like, okay, you have a job outside of the app, whatever, I don't have to like, worry or deal with certain things or whatever. I don't know. I just decided that it'd just be best if I just stay away from streamers.
Got you. So now why would you date a gifter?
Well, I would date a gifter because if a gifter is pursuing me, right, and they've been consistent with me, right, and they've been telling me, hey, you know what, I really do like you, I'm trying to get to know you, and they've actually put in their time and their effort and the support, then I think that deserves, not entertaining, but that deserves them having a chance to at least take you on a date, because to me it just shows that they're serious.
Okay. So what if, and this is a what if, or has it ever happened? Have you ever talked to a gifter before?
As far as like what, off the app?
Like, yeah, have you ever took it to the next level, but like,
I mean, so there's a lot of people that, like I said, come into my stream. My Instagram is on my profile. So I've talked to people that I'm just friends with, that I've talked to off the app. There's people that I've grown to have a closer relationship with and stuff, men and women. So I don't think I necessarily would say that because I talked to you off the app, that means that we're actually dating. But I mean, there may have been like one person, that I've talked to off the app under those circumstances, but like we're friends. So
gotcha. So the relationship ain't go. So let me ask you this. Let's say if somebody that came in, they're supporting you a lot and they're really interested in you, and you guys, go out on a date, you actually feeling the date and the person's actually cool, you decide to take things to the next level, right? Mm-hmm. And then they decide to stream. How would that make you feel?
Well, here's the thing. I'm very good at, when I get to know people and stuff, I kind of like know like the things that they like to do, things that they don't like to do. I kind of study their patterns and their cycles and that sort of thing. So the people that I know that would not stream, I know they're not going to stream. You know what I'm saying? There's other people that I know that there is a possibility that they may start streaming, right? Because of just what I'm picking up from that individual. But it just goes down to you getting to know a person, because everybody's not meant to be a streamer, and you know that, right? So just because somebody say I want to be a streamer don't mean that they're going to be a streamer. It's a lot of work involved in that. And you have to have the personality. You have to have certain criteria in order to present yourself in such a way in order to be a successful streamer. You have to be a person that,
Well, nowadays, do you really feel like that? Because there are a lot of top badges who can't really stream, who doesn't really have content. So do you really still feel like that?
Hold on, let me hold on. Let me say this. So I mean, so, okay, when we say content, right, our definition of content is going to be different, right? So like, let's say if I stream and I'm listening to music and I'm just, vibing out, to me, that may be content, but maybe to you, you may come and say, that's not content because it's not according to your standards, right?
Right.
So I just think that there are a lot of people that do stream and when I say don't do anything, I mean like they're just purely there just for the sake of maybe the diamonds, right? But then there's other people that I know that I've seen stream that actually will talk and have different things and content. In my opinion, they would have content, because at the end of the day, when somebody comes into your stream, there has to be a flow of conversation. There has to be something that's going on that's intriguing people, that's bringing people that bringing people to want to come back, right? But if you're just sitting there and you're just on your phone and you're just watching TV, then obviously, I mean, that's a boring stream. Like, you're not really doing anything. At
Right.
least if you are, maybe vibing out to music, and I can roll with that and say, oh, I like that music or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And you're communicating, and maybe you're funny or something like that. Then I feel like, to a certain extent, you have to do certain things to, make people want to stay in your stream, right?
So here's what I want to tell you. When I say content, doesn't mean, oh, you got to have like exclusive interview. You got to have this. You got to have that. Sometimes people present is enough content. Okay,
Right.
because you're a people person, you're very good at interacting with the comments, and that's content. There's a steady flow of conversation in the room. Okay, but nowadays, right? Because you said
Mhm.
you would date a gifter.
Mhm.
Nowadays,
Mhm.
you only have to be a gifter in order to be a streamer. You get what I'm saying there?
No.
There's a lot of people who gifted big and they go live one time and they make 5 mil. They didn't even show their face.
That's true.
They didn't have to.
Well, but let's
They
keep
make
it
5 mil. They got all their face based off them gifting big, and then now they come on stream.
Well, let me just say this. Let me say this. Just because you hit the live button does not make you a streamer. I'm just saying, right? So if you are coming on, you're not showing your face, whatever, then that means that you gotta look at the ulterior motive. You're there to collect. You're not there to do nothing else, really. I'm just saying, if that's what it is, then just say that. Just say the only reason why I'm on this motherfucker is to collect. That's it. But just keep it real. You feel me? So my problem is when people lie and try to make it seem like it's something and it's really not. You know what I mean? And that's why I said, just because you hit that live button does not make you an authentic streamer, because streamer means that you are in the camera, you are interacting with people, you are presenting something for them to say, hey, I like this person, I'm gonna come back or whatever, you know. But because of, like you said, because the money that they've invested or whatever, and there's several, there ain't just one, there's a couple out that come to mind. I'm just saying, that will go live because they know that, hey, I've dropped so much that all I gotta do is just hit the live button, black screen, mute, whatever, and hey, I'm gonna get my shit, right? But then that means you're a business.
If you were talking to someone who was a gifter, okay? Boom,
Okay.
they're a gifter. They
Right.
say, I have no desire to stream.
Okay.
And then some people, and I'm gonna tell you that, I did that. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, whoa, I didn't realize I spent this much money. I came on during COVID, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, I can't spend it in the clubs. Let's go. Then I realized I spent more on the app than I did in the club. And I was like, whoa, wait, hold up. Somebody told me to stream. It was like, won't you just stream? I was like, I'll stream. But I wasn't streaming with the expectation of making it back. I was streaming with the expectation of, let me work out on stream. That was my first stream, y'all. I did a workout stream. I would come on in the morning, work out, and then in the afternoon I would chill. And it was like, I would say from the time I logged in, that's what it was. Like, I was like a gym enthusiast at one point in time in my life, because I went from 298 pounds down to 200 pounds.
Right.
And then, like, I just kept working out and stuff. But there are people that, okay, once you start talking to them, okay, they had no desire to stream. But then when they get in a relationship now, because they watch you do it, they have a desire to stream. My question to you is, will you still continue to talk to them or be in a relationship with them if they later on change their mind?
Again, I would say that if I was maybe dating a gifter, and let's say one day they say, okay, I want to be a streamer, I think that I would ask them that, why do you want to be a streamer? Like, what is your purpose with that, right? So based off of what they tell me, if they're telling me that, well, I'm just going to stream just for spare time, just to, have, I don't know, topics or whatever that I want to talk about, again, depending on the purpose, I may kind of like, I may kind of like check it out as far as like when they do stream to see, what the energy is bringing. But then at the same time, though, again, a lot of people that I talk to, I know whether or not they're going to be a streamer or not. Even if they can say they want to be a streamer, but I'm already knowing that they don't have what it takes to be a streamer. So, I mean, they can say whatever they want, but even if they go for the trial run for 2-3 different times, then they may say, you know what, this ain't for me or whatever. In the back of my mind, I probably will know that, okay, well, you wasn't going to be a streamer like that anyway, just because you said that you were. So I think I would just kind of sit back and just watch the energy of that and see the real purpose and behind that, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Because I could say one thing to you, but then be on there for a different purpose, right? And you won't know that until that is actually being tested, right, with an individual. But like I said, the people that I talk to that I know, I can tell you that they're not going to ever want to be a streamer. I can tell you that right now.
Gotcha. So I bring that up because a lot of people say that and then they turn around and be a streamer. And then I know a lot of people who claim, I would never, now this ain't for me. And guess what? You are the top badges now.
Well, but my thing is this though, but like, okay, so for those that say I would never be a streamer, what was their purpose of wanting to stream though?
You.
Huh?
You inspired them. You motivated them.
Okay, I got you.
It's a natural, it's a natural want.
Yeah,
like if
I get it.
you're dating someone who's doing it all day, every day, you know what I'm saying? And you're watching them and it's like, you get a sense of encouragement. Like, wait a minute, I could do that. My baby's doing it. Like this is fun. Like,
yeah, I mean, I get that. I understand that too, but okay. So wanting to do it and being qualified to do it, I'm just saying. So, I feel like
hitting the live button even every now and then doesn't make you a streamer. That's true.
I agree. Now,
let me ask you this. I know what you meant, babe. So now let me ask you this. And I'm sorry, Donna had to step out to pick up my daughter from school. So forgive her. She's in the comments asking her question. So let me ask you this now. Suppose you're dating someone on the app, right? And they get a lot of women attention. Mm-hmm. The same way you may get a lot of men attention. But would that bother you?
Honestly, no. Because at the end of the day, they're not physically like interacting with these individuals. But that's why I'm saying that like being a streamer comes with a lot of things. And I'm not saying that like, you can't trust a person or be okay with somebody being a streamer. But I'll say this, it's very rare to find a streamer that is in a relationship that can stream and still be respectful towards their partner and be open and being honest with their viewers. Like for an example, you're very open and honest with your viewers, right? You let everybody know, hey, this is Bae right here. This is my home right here. Ain't nobody going to motherfucking, say or do anything. And I love that about you because that shows that your loyalty expands deeper than probably what I've seen on this app in terms of your love for her. So that's the type of love that I want from a man, is all I'm saying. That's it, Because, baby, the way you love up on her, man, listen, let me find that. I'm chaining his ass up and putting him in the fucking face.
I like that answer. So, so ladies and gentlemen, if you are just getting in here, welcome to the exclusive interview with top badge Afro Latina, guys. At this point, if you have any questions from Afro Latina, and I know Donna might be writing some questions in the comments, okay? So we're looking out for that. You may ask them now, ladies and gentlemen. So put your questions in the comments.
Technically, I'm a bottom badge now.
What's your definition of a bottom badge?
I be struggling. It'd be hard.
Listen, I'm going to tell you this, okay? There is always that bonus. Thank you, y'all. Continue to do what PNP is doing so we can place in this Royale, guys. Let me tell you this. Everyone always has a moment of where things is like, down, but don't even ever call yourself a bottom badge.
I be playing when I
If
say
you call yourself a bottom badge, you speaking it into existence. But you
I
a
know.
top badge. When people look at you, you see a top badge, you see number one on the app. Continue to look at yourself that way and continue to treat yourself that way because that's exactly what's going to happen. You
Right. No,
feel
I
me?
know.
And
I'm goofy like that, you know. I'm goofy, you know.
that's how I look at it. You know what I'm
But
saying?
just
And
like,
honestly, nowadays you only need one. And you know what that means? You only need that one gifter that's gonna come in here and they're gonna love you and they're gonna support you through and through. And to be quite honest with you, a lot of people that's like at the top now, it's one gifter that had faith in them and that believed in their craft and that brought them all the way up. So it takes one, it can take one man, it could take two, it could take a village like mine's, but you got
yeah.
this. Ain't
No,
no bottom
I
badge
agree
on
with
you.
that. I agree with that.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have questions, hit the plus sign coming as a guest. Line up in the box, ask your questions, or type it in the comments. If you are typing in the comments your question, just put a one. If not, let me know. And I do have do you have any questions, babe? Okay. I do have a question for you. How did opening up to us make you feel?
Well, I've always looked at myself as an open book anyway. And honestly, I don't really feel any kind of way of opening up to you guys because I know that I know that when you are on a platform, especially like when you're doing stuff like this, there's 845 people, give or take. There's some probably left and whatever. I know that there's going to be some people that take certain things and try to use it against you or make fun or whatever, but I've always been a strong-minded person it doesn't bother me because at the end of the day, these people that do that, you know, they probably are dealing with worse, you know, things or scenarios that I probably has, you know, experienced or whatever. So I also like doing this too because I feel like that can also open up doors for other people to speak up, to be comfortable in their own skin, to be able to stand on your shit, to be able to, you know, be comfortable in your own skin and not care about what nobody else has to say, you know, especially like if you are a believer or if you have whatever belief system that, you know, you are diving into or whatever, you know, you just got to know and understand who you are, the secure person that you are, and then nobody's going to ever diminish that because you know your value. Once you know your value, can nobody really like diminish that, right? So, and that's why a lot of people say that I'm tough skinned, like, you know, and they come in my stuff, they be trying to troll and do all kind of stuff, but it's like I flip it back on them. Like, they don't bother me. You can say whatever you want, you know, because it's, you know, I mean, you know, but yeah. So I honestly I don't feel any kind of way. I just feel that I'm an open book, and if somebody wants to ask a question, I will be there to give you an answer. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, thank you, thank you. My last question to you, right, is will you feel comfortable? Will you be okay if I post this to my YouTube channel?
Hell no. No, I'm just playing. You can't.
Listen, if it's a hell no, that's fine too.
I'm
If you
just
would like to
playing.
hit
I'm
me on
playing.
the side,
No, you can. That's fine.
thank you very much. I appreciate you. It looks like there's no questions from the audience. I want to thank you so much, Top Badge. Okay, Afro Latina for doing this interview. Thank you, Medusa, for getting her. Let me ask you this: did Top Badge Medusa reach out to you?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Because I also know you have other people that support you and stuff. I just wanted to make sure wasn't Lugs because Lugs said
Oh, well,
Medusa don't like to give his credit.
yeah, but Lux, I mean, he came into my stream recently, but he hasn't asked me anything like
Actually,
that. It was,
okay.
yeah. I know Lux likes to take that he likes to take that accountability like I'm Lux.
Yeah, he likes to take his accountability. So if it was Love, I was gonna say thank you,
It was
Love.
because of
I
love.
thank you,
Afro,
Medusa.
typically I have questions. I'm sorry, but I was driving, so I don't feel offended because I missed some of it because I was on my way to pick Shakela up from
No, you're
school.
fine. You're fine.
All right. Thank you, Afro Latina. Thank you for being the best part of the show. And thank you, audience, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't have Afro Latina fave, please make sure you favorite her right now. And one more question. Is there anything that you would like to talk about that I did not have the opportunity to ask you?
Not that I can not The only thing that I think you did not ask me was like my ventures as far as like what I'm planning to do future wise, probably. And that is, so eventually I have an oil business. And when I say oil, I have like watermelon seed oil, kiwi seed oil, apples, all these different exotic oils that are all natural. You can put it on your skin and it relieves different, medical conditions depending on like what that may be, like a rash or you may have eczema, stuff like that. So eventually I do want to, get my business off the ground with that. And then I like, Curly, she's like my bestie on the app or whatever. She does a lot of good web designs and stuff like that. So I am working towards a website and eventually getting my inventory and stuff like that, even though it costs money. But I'm just saying that that's something that I'm really, because I'm a health and wellness advocate. So I like doing all kind of natural products and stuff like that. So, that's something that I always wanted to do and I'm working on. And then that's about it. As far as me just building my stream, just like Rose, she's trying to qualify. I am too. I'm just saying, So I gotta go and grind on my stream, just to see, But good luck to you, role model. And I know that your people is going to be there, and you always have that love, and it's wonderful to see. It really is.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Please give a round of applause to Top Batch Afro Latina. Thank you for coming on the show. We appreciate you, y'all, ladies and gentlemen. Another successful interview. Make sure you hit it with a fave. Make sure you hit me with a fave. And y'all know what time it is. If y'all can, pull up to our stream, show us some love, try to help her place in the qualifier. Right now, let's help me place in the qualifiers, y'all. Please and thank you. I appreciate all gifts, all the love, all the wheels, y'all. Let's see if we can send some wheels and hit a bonus on it. We are over 101. Let's try to get top 20, guys. Okay? If we click on here, y'all, in order to place top 20 right now, right? We need about 300K, guys. We need about 300K. 250 to 300K to place top 20. Now 300K. Let's just say 300K, y'all. Okay? It's the top 32 people that will qualify in this, y'all. So let's beat the top if we can. Let's place on the top if we can. Where are you guys at? Okay, we're going to be streaming right now. And guys, one of the things I'm not trying to do, and I know we got shows. Later on at 9 p.m. is jury duty, guys. So I encourage everybody, if y'all want me to place, if y'all want us in the game, y'all, which I definitely want us in the game, it's okay to gift during the show. The sound is off. It's not going to interrupt the show. Everyone know what's going on. So later on when I go live, y'all, at 9 p.m., we will be having jury duty. Thank you for the love, guys. We will be having jury duty. What that means is we're going to continue. Top Bad Summer is suing me, guys. She is suing me. So you will now see me. Donna will be in this seat later on. Okay. And I will be representing myself. So we will be picking out the jurors together, guys. So I would love for y'all to be there, and I would love for all of y'all to spam just exactly what Cookie was doing. Thank you so much, Cookie, for people to know that we're trying to qualify to be in it. So if y'all could pull up, if y'all cannot gift, okay, just spam it in the comments and let everyone know to send gifts so we can place in it, y'all. We literally have 9 hours, y'all. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the love. All right, I'm going to stop the recording, but we could show out on this app.